My 8 sisters are all sexy beauties. The eldest sister is a beautiful dean with a miraculous medical skill. The second sister is a domineering CEO with a wealth that rivals a country. The third sister is a top star with unparalleled talent. The fourth sister is a 4-way war god with mighty power. The fifth sister is a flower among police officers and a master of investigating cases. The sixth sister is a doctor of science and a university professor. The seventh sister is a queen of selling goods with a live broadcast of over 100 million. The eighth sister is a top scientist and a pillar of the country. The game starts with signing in a miraculous medical sister. From then on, with the sister in hand, the world is mine. Chapter 1, Drawn to a Divine Doctor Sister. At the entrance of Zhongshan Hospital in Bobai City, Zhu Xiaolong was just about to clock in for work when he was stopped by the security guard. "Hey, what are you doing?" "I'm a staff member of the hospital," Zhu Xiaolong asked in confusion. "From today onwards, you are no longer a staff member here, so you cannot enter," the security guard said seriously. "Why is that?" "You must be mistaken. Here is my work ID." "I'm an intern doctor here," Zhu Xiaolong replied, showing his credentials to the security guard. To his surprise, the guard didn't even look at them and just tossed them to the ground. "These credentials were valid yesterday, but not today. You don't need to come to work anymore. Leave immediately, or I'll have no choice but to take action," the security guard threatened with a menacing look. Zhu Xiaolong was completely stunned. He had been working overtime at the hospital just yesterday. Why couldn't he get in today? But he didn't want to make a fuss with the security guard, so he decided to leave first and call his girlfriend, Tan Yongfang, to talk to the relevant department about the issue. Just as he was about to turn away, he saw Tan Yongfang get out of an Audi car, dressed in an extremely eye-catching outfit. Following her was their department head, Li Degui. After Li Degui got out of the car, he immediately put his arm around Tan Yongfang's waist, grinning lecherously. "Yongfang, you? Zhu Xiaolong, you caught us. There's no need to hide anything." "Yes, I'm now with Director Li." "So, let us break up," Tan Yongfang said coldly. "That's right, kid. Yongfang is now my woman. Don't even think about pursuing her. Otherwise, I'll make sure you can't survive in Sanhai City," Li Degui added arrogantly. "So, you were the one who arranged for the security to stop me from working, right?" Zhu Xiaolong asked angrily. "So what if I did? I'm the department head here, and the hospital's shareholders are my relatives. What can you do about it?" "You'd better get lost, or I'll make sure you regret it," Li Degui laughed in a carefree manner. "Sweetheart, don't mind this country bumpkin. The more I look at him, the more disgusted I get. You're the one I find most charming." "I love you," Tan Yongfang said, leaning into Li Degui's arms, acting coquettishly. "Really? Har har har, then tonight, you'll see just how charming I can be." Listening to their conversation made Zhu Xiaolong almost vomit. He clearly remembered Tan Yongfang saying she hated greasy old men like Li Degui. How could she now throw herself into his arms? The reality was so disappointing. Zhu Xiaolong was furious. He and Tan Yongfang had been in a relationship since college and even started working at the hospital together. After all these years of caring for her, was it all worth less than the luxury cars and bags that a greasy old man could provide? "Tan Yongfang, I really didn't expect you to be this kind of person. I've cared for you so much over the years, yet you betray me for money. Doesn't your conscience hurt?" Zhu Xiaolong questioned. "What a joke. How much is conscience worth?" "Yes, I admit you're a good man, but the problem is, you can't give me everything I want. Look at the LV bag in my hand, my new iPhone 12, and this watch. Can you afford these things? So, give up," she said coldly. "Moreover, Director Li has already arranged the best job for me. What can you offer?" Li Degui, with a wicked grin, added, "Yes, I've arranged an easy job for Yongfang. You'd better not bother her in the future. Otherwise, not only will you be driven out of this hospital, but you won't be able to stay anywhere in Bobai City. HMPH. You filthy pair of dogs, you're completely heartless," Zhu Xiaolong shouted in anger. "Ding dong, congratulations, host. Due to your extreme anger, you've successfully activated the random sign-in system. Today's sign-in is successful. Do you wish to draw a prize? A random sign-in system. Could it be that he had obtained the legendary system that could help even the most insignificant person rise to the top? Having read many online novels, Zhu Xiaolong knew exactly what a system was, something that could turn a loser into a hero. Could he have been chosen? What was he waiting for? Draw. Zhu Xiaolong decided immediately. Drawing in progress, please wait. Draw successful. Congratulations, host. You have won a Divine Doctor Sister and the miraculous medical skills as a reward. A Divine Doctor Sister? Zhu Xiaolong was even more confused. What kind of prize was that? Sisters could be rewards. Zhu Xiaolong, how dare you insult me? Security, get over here and beat him up. Before Zhu Xiaolong could process what was going on, Leader Gui grit his teeth and angrily ordered the security guard. The security guard, knowing Leader Gui's influence and connections, obeyed without hesitation. There was no reason for him to offend Leader Gui over Zhu Xiaolong. He grabbed his stun baton and was about to charge at Zhu Xiaolong. Leader Gui, don't push me too far. I'm telling you, this world still has the law. Zhu Xiaolong yelled again. The law? HMPH. Today, I, Leader Gui, will show you what the law is. Security, don't waste time. Break his legs, then make him kneel and apologize to me. Leader Gui said arrogantly, laughing. Just as Zhu Xiaolong was about to say something, the roar of an engine sounded in the distance. In less than 10 seconds, an Aston Martin DB11 stopped right in front of them. The car's loud roar immediately attracted the attention of many people who began to gather around. Oh my god, isn't he that the legendary Aston Martin DB11? The top model costs 3 million. What a beautiful sports car. I wonder who drove it here. I think I saw Du Wan, the beautiful director of Zhongshan Hospital, get out of the car. If it's Du Wan, then it's no surprise. Not only is she the beautiful director of Zhongshan Hospital, but she is also known as a divine doctor. Driving a car like this is no big deal for her. People immediately began to gossip about the sports car that had just driven in. At that moment, a tall young woman wearing sunglasses stepped out of the car. Director Du, it's you? Leader Gui immediately smiled and walked over to greet her. But Du Wan completely ignored him. She walked straight up to Zhu Xiaolong, took off her sunglasses, and with a smile, said, "Good little brother, you've made me search for you so hard. Luckily, my secretary told me you were working at our hospital. Here, this car is a gift from me to you. Take the keys." With that, Du Wan handed Zhu Xiaolong the keys to the car she had just driven. Little brother? This. Chapter 2, Regret until your intestines turn green. Li Degui and Tan Yongfang were stunned when they heard Du Wan address Zhu Xiaolong as her younger brother and gift him an expensive sports car. Especially Tan Yongfang, who had been in a relationship with Zhu Xiaolong for so many years, and thought she knew everything about his family. How could a hospital director's sister suddenly appear and give him such an expensive car? Good little brother, what's wrong? Why are you staring at me so wide-eyed? Do I have something on my face? Du Wan asked curiously, noticing that Zhu Xiaolong hadn't spoken. Well, Zhu Xiaolong wasn't silent because he didn't want to speak, he was just stunned and hadn't yet processed what was happening. He never expected the so-called random sign-in system to be so powerful. It really gave him a divine doctor sister, and on top of that, she gave him an expensive sports car right when they met. It was truly an amazing surprise. Director Du, is Zhu Xiaolong really your younger brother? But he. Before Zhu Xiaolong could speak, Li Degui couldn't help but ask curiously. Shut up, you bastard. How dare you steal my younger brother's girlfriend? You're looking for trouble. From today on, you are no longer allowed to work in our hospital. I'll also send a notice in the industry to make sure you can't find a job anywhere in Bobai City, Du Wan said angrily. Li Degui trembled in fear. He knew Du Wan's power, she could easily make him lose his job in the entire city. He fell to his knees in front of Zhu Xiaolong and begged, "Young Master Zhu, I know I was wrong. It's my fault, I was too ignorant. Please, tell Director Du not to fire me. And this woman is the one who seduced me. I never intended to steal your girlfriend. So, if you want to blame someone, blame her." Darling, what nonsense are you talking? Didn't you say you were already in love with me last night? You dreamed about me over and over and said you'd love me for life. Tan Yongfang said in disappointment. You shameless thing. I said all that just to sleep with you. I didn't expect you to be so foolish to believe me. Get out of here. You've offended young Master Ju, deal with it yourself. Li Degui immediately turned on her, showing his true face. This completely devastated Tan Yongfang. She had betrayed Zhu Xiaolong in the hope of attaching herself to a powerful figure and living a better life with more money. But now, not only had she missed out on Zhu Xiaolong, an invisible rich man, but Li Degui was also treating her this way. She regretted it deeply. And you worldly woman, dare to hurt my younger brother? Let me tell you, you'll never find work in Bobai City again. Duwana added sharply to Tan Yongfang. No, please. I can't live without a job. Xiaolong, I beg you, for the sake of our many years together, please tell your sister not to do this to me. Tan Yongfang immediately knelt on the ground, pleading with Zhu Xiaolong. Many years together? I remember you didn't say that before. Didn't you say that conscience isn't worth anything? Zhu Xiaolong retorted coldly. I know I was wrong. Please, give me another chance. You know I can't live without a job. Tan Yongfang continued to beg. Zhu Xiaolong felt no sympathy for her. He had completely given up on her and would never shed another tear for this woman. She didn't deserve it. Good little brother, don't worry about them. They brought this upon themselves. Let us go. I'll take you to the office and give you a portion of the hospital's shares. Duwana spoke kindly to Zhu Xiaolong. Oh my god, Director Du is being so good to Zhu Xiaolong. Not only did she give him a sports car, now she is giving him a portion of the hospital's shares. If I had known he had such a powerful sister, I would have made friends with him earlier. Tan Yongfang is so unlucky. If she hadn't betrayed Zhu Xiaolong, she could have had a sports car and a powerful sister like Director Du as her backing. Now it's all over for her. This is probably the result of her own actions. If she hadn't betrayed Zhu Xiaolong for money, how would she have ended up like this? The onlookers whispered and commented. This made Tan Yongfang regret even more, imagining what could have been if she hadn't made that decision. She could have been with Zhu Xiaolong, enjoying the sports car and the backing of a divine doctor director, and possibly even gaining a share in the hospital. But now, it was all just a dream, and she had no part in it. Zhu Xiaolong didn't even look at her. He nodded at Duwana, then walked with her into the hospital's office building. By the way, good little brother, that security guard offended you earlier. I haven't punished him yet. Do you want me to call someone and have him fired? Once they reached the office, Duwana remembered and asked Zhu Xiaolong politely. Thanks, but no need. He was just doing his job because of Li Degui's power, Zhu Xiaolong said generously. Of course, you're my good little brother. I knew I made the right decision. Come, sit down and have a drink. I'll call a meeting with the other shareholders in a moment. Duwana smiled and said, then poured him a drink. Really, are you going to give me part of the shares of Zhongshan Hospital? Zhu Xiaolong asked, still in disbelief at how surreal this all felt. Of course. You're my long-lost brother. I've always spoiled you when you were a child. Giving you a portion of the hospital's shares is nothing, Duwana affirmed. Well. Zhu Xiaolong was stunned once again. He was sure that he had no connection to this beautiful director when he was young, so why was she saying she had always spoiled him? Good little brother, what's wrong? Are you feeling unwell? Duwana asked with concern when she saw the confused look on Zhu Xiaolong's face. No, it's just that I don't understand. Why did you suddenly become my sister? This was the question that had been nagging him ever since Duwana appeared, and now he couldn't hold back anymore. Chapter 3, Doubting My Abilities. When Duwana heard Zhu Xiaolong's question, she immediately reached out with her fair, delicate hand to gently check his forehead. Then, she said. Strange, you don't have a fever today, so why are you talking nonsense? Nonsense? Zhu Xiaolong asked. Yes. I'm your sister. We grew up together, but then you disappeared, and we couldn't find you. It wasn't until today that my secretary told me you were working at our hospital, Duwana explained. But how can you have the surname Du and I have the surname Zhu? Zhu Xiaolong asked, still puzzled. Could it be that you've been hurt too deeply by that woman and now you're acting all confused? I was adopted by your parents, and my biological parents have the surname Du, so that's why they made me take the surname. Do you knew this since we were kids? Duwana responded, somewhat surprised by Zhu Xiaolong's questions. Seeing that Zhu Xiaolong was still confused, Duwana was worried. As a renowned doctor, she had amazing skills, so she checked his pulse again. After a moment, she found that everything seemed normal. Good brother, did I do something wrong, and now you don't recognize me? Duwana asked seriously. No, sis, don't misunderstand me. It's just that so many things happened today, and I'm a little overwhelmed, Zhu Xiaolong explained. Zhu Xiaolong started to understand. The system had given Duwana memories of him being her brother, which was why she had these childhood memories. But it wasn't a bad thing after all. Having a beautiful doctor sister could only be beneficial for him. He decided to accept this sister the system had given him. Alright, as long as you're fine. I'd feel terrible if I had upset you, Duwana said with a smile. Now, you sit down. I'll call the other shareholders. When Zhu Xiaolong finally called her sister, Duwana was pleased. She immediately pulled out her phone and called the other shareholders, telling them to meet in the conference room in 10 minutes. Sis, I'm just an intern at the hospital. You're giving me shares, and I'll become a shareholder all of a sudden. Won't the other shareholders have an issue with that? Zhu Xiaolong asked. Don't worry. I'm not giving them any of their shares, just transferring a portion of mine to you. They won't have a problem with that. Now stop overthinking it. With me looking out for you, you have nothing to worry about, Duwana said confidently. Alright, thanks, sis, Zhu Xiaolong nodded, grateful. 10 minutes later, the conference room was filled with around 10 people, and Duwana walked in with Zhu Xiaolong. Wana, you finally arrived. What's this urgent meeting about? A young man greeted her, looking curious. Li Dawei, you're just in time. I need to tell you that your uncle has been involved in inappropriate relationships at the hospital, using his power to bully the staff. I've just fired him, Duwana said coldly. What? My uncle was fired? Why didn't you consult me first about such a big matter? Li Dawei asked angrily. Sorry, you're just a minor shareholder. I don't see why I should have to consult you first. Now that I'm telling you, I've shown you enough respect, Duwana replied coldly. You? Li Dawei was furious, but he had no choice. According to the contract, he didn't have the right to interfere with the hospital's operations. Most of the shares and decisions were in Duwana's hands. Now, this is a shareholders' meeting. Why is an intern doctor here? Li Dawei asked arrogantly when he noticed Zhu Xiaolong beside Duwana. He's my brother, Zhu Xiaolong. I'm planning to transfer part of my shares to him, about 20%. That's the reason I called this meeting, Duwana explained. What? You're giving him 20% of the shares? Doesn't that mean he'll have more shares than me? Li Dawei said, dissatisfied. Exactly. So from now on, show my brother some respect. Or I won't hold back, Duwana said firmly. You? Li Dawei was once again furious, but he couldn't do anything. After all, Duwana was within her rights. The other shareholders were shocked by Duwana's announcement. Li Dawei saw an opportunity and continued. Wana, although you're the largest shareholder and hold the most power, giving a man with no abilities such a large stake seems unwise, don't you think? Do you want our hospital to go bankrupt? Li Dawei's words made the other shareholders think twice, and they began to nod in agreement. Li Dawei has a point. Although you care for your brother, we can't gamble the hospital's future on him. If you want to show your brother some love, you could give him a villa or money. But making him a major shareholder without any experience seems too risky. Exactly, it's a huge risk. We started this hospital because we trusted each other's abilities. For example, we all agree that your medical skills are exceptional, so you're the rightful largest shareholder. But Zhu Xiaolong just graduated, and he's only an intern. If he becomes a major shareholder, we're all very worried about the future of Zhongshan Hospital. The shareholders' words made Duwana feel a bit conflicted. Though she was the largest shareholder and held the most power, she still had to consider their feelings. Especially now, when all the shareholders were doubting Zhu Xiaolong's abilities, it was a difficult situation. Li Dawei felt triumphant because this was exactly what he had wanted. Ding dong, the system detects that their hostess divine doctor skill is not activated. Would you like to activate it? Just as Zhu Xiaolong was about to speak up and defend his sister, the system's voice suddenly sounded in his mind. Zhu Xiaolong realized that when the system had rewarded him with a divine doctor sister, it had also given him the so-called divine doctor skill, which he had yet to activate. Now, he understood that the skill needed to be activated. Reminder: would you like to activate the divine doctor skill? Activate. Zhu Xiaolong mentally selected Activate. Activating divine doctor skill, please wait. The system's interface was virtual, and only Zhu Xiaolong could see it. After a few seconds of waiting, Zhu Xiaolong suddenly felt a chill, and a beam of golden light, visible only to him, descended from his head. Once it disappeared, he found his mind filled with vast medical knowledge, from traditional Chinese medicine to advanced Western medicine. He could now easily access this knowledge whenever he wanted. Zhu Xiaolong, why are you shaking? Are you scared? Har. If you're scared, just get out. Li Dawei sneered, thinking Zhu Xiaolong was trembling out of fear. Zhu Xiaolong ignored him and stood up, asking confidently. Everyone, I'd like to know what exactly do you mean by ability? Well, one of the older shareholders replied, as a hospital owner, the first thing we need is medical expertise. For example, your sister, Duwana, is known as a divine doctor. Since that is the case, I believe I'm fully qualified for this position. First, I have a medical background. Second, my sister is a divine doctor, and as her brother, how could I be lacking in skill? Zhu Xiaolong said confidently, now that he had activated the divine doctor skill. What? Fully qualified? Kid, stop bragging. You're just a graduate from a second-rate medical university and have barely started your internship. What abilities could you possibly have? Li Dawei sneered. Duwana wasn't happy to hear that and stood up to defend her brother, saying, what do you mean by that? Are you looking down on my brother? It's not that I'm looking down on him, he's just bragging. You. Before Duwana could continue, her secretary rushed into the meeting room, panting and reporting urgently. Director Du, it's bad. President Liu from the city has caused a problem at our hospital. Our doctors can't find the cause of his illness, and there is no solution. His people are furious and said that if we can't treat him, they'll blow up our hospital. Chapter 4: Someone wants to be a grandson. When Duwana heard what the secretary said, she had a premonition that something was wrong. Chairman Liu is one of the important leaders of Bobai City. If something happens to him in the hospital, not to mention the bad reputation it will cause to their hospital, the Liu family will not let the hospital off easily. The other shareholders were even more panicked and started to worry. Zhu Xiaolong, didn't you just say that you are an excellent doctor? Now is a good opportunity to prove yourself. At this time, Li Dawei had an idea and plan to throw this trap to Zhu Xiaolong. He knew that Zhu Xiaolong was just an intern who had just graduated and had no experience in medicine. If he failed to treat Chairman Liu, he could not only put all the blame on him, but also use this opportunity to drive him out of Zhongshan Hospital, completely venting his anger for himself and his uncle. Yes, what Mr. Li said makes sense. As a new shareholder, Mr. Zhu has an obligation to make some contributions to the hospital. And now is a good opportunity. I think Mr. Li's idea is right. Since Mr. Zhu just said that his medical skills are also very good, you can prove it to us now. I agree with your views, but I wonder if you are willing to do so, Mr. Zhu. Other shareholders also nodded, expressing their support for Li Dawei's idea. Li Dawei seemed even more proud, and continued to add fuel to the fire. Zhu Xiaolong, you are not just bragging, and now you don't dare to take this task, right? Li Dawei, what do you mean? My brother is just an intern who just graduated, and now President Liu is such an important patient, and you ask him to go and treat him. Duwana stood up for her brother. He himself said that he had won the job. Now that he is faced with a little trouble, is he afraid to face it as one of the shareholders? You? Okay, sister, no need to say more. Just leave President Liu's illness to me. Zhu Xiaolong said confidently. Although he didn't know what disease President Liu had, he believed that he could cure it with the miracle doctor skills in his mind. Okay, you said this yourself. Don't regret it. But I have to make it clear in advance that Chairman Liu is no simple person. He is one of the important leaders in our city. If anything happens to him, you may be in trouble for the rest of your life. Li Dawei threatened with a smug look on his face. For your sister's sake, it's not too late for you to regret now. Otherwise, you might end up in serious danger of losing your life. No regrets. Leave this matter to me. Even if the treatment is not successful, I will bear all the responsibilities. But what will you do if I can cure President Liu? Zhu Xiaolong said confidently. If you can really cure Chairman Liu, I, Li Dawei, will kneel down and call you grandpa, and I will no longer object to you becoming a shareholder of Zhongshan Hospital. In Li Dawei's opinion, it is impossible for Zhu Xiaolong to cure President Liu's disease no matter what. After all, so many experienced doctors in the hospital are helpless. Can you, a newly graduated intern, do it? So he doesn't care about what the stakes are. His current plan is to lure Zhu Xiaolong to do this first. Zhu Xiaolong knew what Li Dawei was thinking. Since you want to be my grandson, I will grant your wish. Zhu Xiaolong grinned and said, You said that, and everyone heard it. Yes, I said it, and I, Li Dawei, can say it again. If you, Zhu Xiaolong, can really cure Chairman Liu, I will kneel down and call you grandpa, and I will no longer object to you becoming one of the shareholders of Zhongshan Hospital. Li Dawei said loudly. Okay, without further ado, I will go over and treat President Liu now. Time is life, and Zhu Xiaolong didn't want to delay any longer, so he immediately asked Duwana and others to take him to President Liu's ward. There were already 4 or 5 veteran doctors standing in the ward. When they saw Duwana coming, they immediately made way for her. President Du, you are finally here. Chairman Liu's health is very strange. We have used various medical instruments but cannot find out what disease he has. Moreover, we have tried various methods but cannot improve his health. One of the old doctors wearing elegant glasses answered. Is there such a thing? It's unlikely. I have never seen a disease that cannot be detected by medical instruments. Duwana said puzzled. President Du, you are the person in charge of the hospital. It's just right that you're here. I believe you know how important our Chairman Liu is, right? I don't want to scare you on purpose. If anything happens to our Chairman Liu today, your hospital will bear full responsibility. Just at this moment, President Liu's assistant Zhang Kai came over and said with a serious face. Assistant Zhang, I know the seriousness of this matter. However, our hospital has not said that we cannot treat President Liu. Medical treatment requires a process, so please give us some time. Duwana replied forcefully. That's right, Assistant Zhang. We have invited Zhu Xiaolong, one of the shareholders of the hospital, to treat President Liu. He said he is fully responsible for this matter, so you can rest assured. Li Dawei also deliberately came out and spoke. His meaning was obvious. He wanted to put all the blame on Zhu Xiaolong and avoid being implicated if anything went wrong. Brother, you. Duwana was still a little worried that her brother would not be able to complete the task. After all, she knew that it would be too difficult for a newly graduated intern. Sister, don't worry, I won't let you down. After that, Zhu Xiaolong walked out and said confidently, Yes, President Liu's affairs are left to me. But you are so young, can you do it? Seeing Zhu Xiaolong's youthful appearance, Assistant Zhang couldn't help but become a little suspicious. I promise there will be no problems, and I will be responsible for anything that happens. Although Assistant Zhang still had some doubts about Zhu Xiaolong, he saw that President Liu's complexion was getting uglier and uglier. It was obviously too late to transfer him to another hospital for treatment, so he had to give it a try. Zhu Xiaolong sat down and deliberately took President Liu's pulse, but in fact he was activating the miracle doctor skills given to him by the system in his mind. The miracle doctor's skills revealed that Mr. Liu was not suffering from any disease, but was possessed by an evil spirit. No wonder they couldn't detect it even with modern advanced medical instruments. After all, how could machines determine whether evil spirits were present? Zhu Xiaolong, how is it? Have you found out what disease President Liu has? Li Dawei asked deliberately in an urgent tone. President Liu doesn't have any disease, he's just possessed by evil spirits. Zhu Xiaolong stood up and spoke slowly. What? Possessed. Chapter 5, The Miracle Doctor's Skills Show His Power. Zhu Xiaolong's words made everyone look shocked. After all, being possessed by evil spirits usually only appears on TV or in online novels. How could it happen in reality? Li Dawei also seized the opportunity and immediately laughed at him. Zhu Xiaolong, have you read too many novels? You are possessed by evil spirits. Why don't you say that he is possessed by a ghost? Brother, are you sure your judgment is correct? Duwana asked worriedly. Don't worry, sister. I am absolutely not wrong. It is because President Liu is possessed by evil spirits that we cannot detect what disease he has even with instruments. Zhu Xiaolong answered affirmatively. Zhu Xiaolong, stop talking nonsense. Do you think we are 3-year-old children? There is no such thing as being possessed by evil spirits in this world. Li Dawei said with disdain. President Du, I don't care about your judgment. I just want our President Liu to wake up soon. Otherwise, I will not be polite. Assistant Zhang on the side continued to urge. Brother, do you have any solution? Du Wanna continued to ask Zhu Xiaolong. Of course there is a way. Please wait. Zhu Xiaolong activated his divine doctor skills again, and soon, many prescriptions for treating President Liu's condition appeared in his mind, but they were all traditional Chinese medicine methods. After all, in Western medicine, there is no such thing as being possessed by evil spirits. Zhu Xiaolong chose the simplest acupuncture because he was interested in traditional acupuncture when he was in college, so it would be easy to use it. How is it? Zhu Xiaolong, have you thought of the so-called method to cure being possessed by evil spirits? Let me tell you, Chairman Liu's health is no joke. If anything happens, you can just wait to see the king of hell. Li Dawei mocked Zhu Xiaolong with a smug expression. Zhu Xiaolong was too lazy to pay attention to him. He turned to his sister Duwana and said, Sister, ask someone to prepare a pair of silver needles for me. I want to use acupuncture to remove the evil spirit from President Liu. As long as the evil spirit comes out of his body, he will surely recover slowly. What? Acupuncture. When the doctors behind him heard that Zhu Xiaolong was going to use acupuncture to treat President Liu, they all expressed shock. Li Dawei laughed even more triumphantly, thinking that Zhu Xiaolong would definitely lose this time. Although Zhu Xiaolong's loss might affect the reputation of Zhongshan Hospital, in his opinion, as long as he could vent his anger for himself and his cousin, he would do anything. Yes, acupuncture. Zhu Xiaolong answered affirmatively. Duwana chose to believe Zhu Xiaolong, nodded, and asked someone to prepare a set of silver needles. Humph, I want to see how this charlatan uses acupuncture to treat President Liu. Li Dawei said with disdain on his face. Good brother, come on, sister supports you. Although Duwana didn't quite believe that acupuncture could cure the seriously ill President Liu, everyone was not optimistic about Zhu Xiaolong now, so as a sister, she had to stand up and show her support. Zhu Xiaolong nodded in gratitude and started to operate. According to the system's instructions on the genius doctor's skills, these silver needles must first be given a certain temperature, and then inserted into several acupuncture points such as Qianshu, Yintang, Taiyan, Renzhong, etc. Although the acupoints and manipulation techniques were rather complicated, Zhu Xiaolong was a professional medical student, and with the help of his skills as a miracle doctor, he had completed the operation in less than a minute. Such a fast and accurate operation stunned everyone present. Brother, how come your technique was so fast just now? Duwana, who was known as a miracle doctor, asked in surprise. This is still considered slow. If it were other patients, I think it would be even faster. Zhu Xiaolong also chose to show off. What's the use of being quick? It has to be effective. If those few hits he made just now could really wake up President Liu, not only would I kneel down and call him grandpa, I could also slap myself 3 times. But is it possible? Don't let your imagination run wild. Li Dawei said contemptuously. Li Dawei, what do you mean? You are also one of the shareholders of the hospital. You don't speak for the hospital at this time, but you are still making sarcastic remarks. What do you want? Duwana said angrily. Sister, there's no need to be angry. If he wants to slap himself so badly, I'll just grant his wish. You? Humph, I don't believe that President Liu can really be cured by you. Ahem, what's wrong with me? Just after Li Dawei finished speaking, there were a few coughing sounds from the bed, and then President Liu opened his mouth and spoke softly. This. Li Dawei's eyes almost popped out of his head in shock. He had an incredible expression on his face and was slow to react. President Liu, are you really awake? That's great, it's really great. When Assistant Zhang saw President Liu wake up, he walked over in surprise, squatted at the head of the bed and said excitedly. Xiao Zhang, what happened to me? Did I faint suddenly, or am I dead? President Liu rolled his eyes and asked in confusion. President Liu, you are not dead. It was this young doctor who saved you. He is truly a miracle worker. He brought you back to life with just a few simple needles. Assistant Zhang replied. Really? Little miracle doctor, thank you so much. You are my, Liu Wen's benefactor. President Liu said gratefully in the direction of Zhu Xiaolong. After hearing this, Duaner was very happy. She hadn't thought that her brother had such amazing medical skills. It seemed that her worries were unnecessary. Good brother, what are you standing there for? President Liu is thanking you. Seeing that Zhu Xiaolong didn't say anything, Duaner reminded him. President Liu, you're welcome. This is my duty as a doctor. Do you still feel uncomfortable anywhere? Zhu Xiaolong walked forward and asked with concern. Thank you, little doctor. I just feel a little weak now, nothing else. Liu Wen replied. That's good. You're weak because you've been unconscious for too long and haven't eaten. Now the evil spirit in your body has been driven out by me. With some more conditioning, your body will be able to fully recover. Zhu Xiaolong said confidently. Really? That's great. Xiao Zhang, please help me write down the contact information of the young miracle doctor. I will be sure to thank him when I am discharged from the hospital. Liu Wen ordered. President Liu, don't worry. I will. Assistant Zhang nodded. Everyone was very happy when President Liu woke up, especially the medical staff of the hospital, as they had finally overcome a difficult time. Otherwise, if something happened to President Liu, how could the entire hospital be peaceful tonight? Li Dawei was an exception. He looked a little embarrassed and awkward, and the expression on his face was like wind, rain and fog. Hee, everyone, I have something urgent to do at home, so I'll take my leave now. Wait, Li Dawei, you want to run away? No way. Just when Li Dawei was about to escape, he was stopped by Duaner. This. Chapter 6. Kneel down and call Grandpa. Li Dawei's face looked even uglier at this time. He was stunned for a moment, not knowing what to do. Have you forgotten the bet you made with my brother? You don't want to break the contract in front of President Liu, do you? Duaner reminded. Xiao Zhang, what is going on? What are they talking about? Liu Wen, who was lying on the bed, asked curiously. President Liu, this is what happened. Just now, Li Dawei made a bet with Mr. Zhu, the young miracle doctor who cured you. If you are cured by Mr. Zhu, he will kneel down and call Mr. Zhu Grandpa, and slap himself 3 times. Assistant Zhang replied. So that's how it is. I understand. Little miracle doctor, don't worry, you saved my life, you are my benefactor. If anyone dares to break the promise, don't blame me, Liu Wen, for being rude. Liu Wen said seriously. This. Hearing what Liu Wen said, Li Dawei was so scared that he fell to his knees. Grandpa, I know I was wrong. I overestimated my own abilities. I deserve to die. I shouldn't have underestimated you. After Liu Wen's words, Li Dawei dared not hesitate any longer. After all, he knew very well that with Liu Wen's support, he would be courting death if he looked down on Zhu Xiaolong. He could only kneel obediently at Zhu Xiaolong's feet, kowtow and call him Grandpa. My dear grandson, you seem to have forgotten another thing. Zhu Xiaolong deliberately reminded. Yes. I will slap myself 3 times, I will do it now. Par. 3 loud slaps suddenly rang out in the ward. Since your grandson is so well behaved, let's forget about what happened today. You can go now. Yes. Thank you, Grandpa. Thank you, Grandpa. The atmosphere was too awkward for Li Dawei. He lowered his head and walked out quickly with a look of embarrassment on his face. Duaner, who was standing by, couldn't help but smile secretly when she saw this scene. She didn't expect that Li Dawei, who was always so high and mighty, would be made obedient like a dog by his younger brother this time. It seemed that after not seeing his younger brother for many years, he had gained a lot of skills. Okay, brother, you really didn't disappoint me. This time, I'm more convinced than the wall. After leaving Liu Wen's ward, Duaner was the first to give Zhu Xiaolong a thumbs up. Thank you for the compliment, sister. I just can't stand Li Dawei's arrogance. Zhu Xiaolong said modestly. I think everyone should have no objection to my brother becoming a shareholder of Zhongshan Hospital this time. Duana also took this opportunity to turn around and ask the shareholders present. No objection. Everyone nodded and expressed their opinion. That's good. Let's go, good brother. Let's go back to the office to sign the contract. Duana said happily. So, the matter was settled. No one objected to Zhu Xiaolong becoming one of the shareholders of Zhongshan Hospital. After signing the share transfer agreement, Zhu Xiaolong officially became one of the shareholders of the hospital. In order to get to know everyone better, Duana also invited everyone to have dinner together tonight. Sister, it's still early for dinner. I want to go back first and then go over when the time comes. Is that okay with you? Zhu Xiaolong looked at the time and said. Of course, no problem. But as a shareholder of the hospital, do you plan to come to work regularly every day? Har har, with such a capable sister like you around, I just need to be a salted fish. Zhu Xiaolong smiled and replied. Okay, then I'll help you. You don't need to get involved in the management of the hospital's affairs, just enjoy the dividends from your shares on a regular basis. Duana said generously. With this miracle doctor sister, Zhu Xiaolong immediately felt very happy. After going downstairs, Zhu Xiaolong took the key to the Aston Martin DB11 that Duana gave her, pressed it lightly, and the car made a responding sound. Just when he was about to get in to try out this legendary multi-million-dollar sports car, Tan Yongfang suddenly came out. Xiaolong, are you coming down? Can we go back to the way we were at the beginning? I know I was wrong, and I promise I will never betray you again. Tan Yongfang knelt on the ground, hugged Zhu Xiaolong's thighs and begged. Tan Yongfang, what are you doing? Let me go. No, I won't let go unless you agree to it. Please, Xiaolong, can you give me another chance? Haven't we been on and off over the years? We can do it again. Tan Yongfang was unwilling to miss this opportunity. After all, Zhu Xiaolong was a big fish now, so she continued to beg for reconciliation. But Zhu Xiaolong's heart is dead, and he will no longer be attached to this woman. Yes, we were on and off before, but those were just quarrels over trivial matters, and this time you betrayed me for money. So we're done, and if you don't let go, I'll call security. No, I won't. I just won't. Security, come here and pull this woman away from me immediately. Zhu Xiaolong ordered the security guard next to him. The security guard already knew that Zhu Xiaolong was the brother of the genius Dr. Duana, and he had just offended Zhu Xiaolong, and he had been worrying about how to apologize. Now when he heard Zhu Xiaolong's order, he thought it was a good opportunity, so he ran over immediately and pulled Tan Yongfang aside. With a slap, he gave him a loud slap. You shameless thing, if you keep pestering Master Zhu like this, I won't be polite. Although Tan Yongfang was pitiful at this moment, Zhu Xiaolong had no sympathy for her. This woman had brought all this upon herself. Without even looking at it, he got into the 3 million sports car, started the car, stepped on the accelerator, and with a bang, he quickly left here. Tan Yongfang could only cover his painful mouth, his face full of despair and regret. At this time, in the residential building of Xingfu Community, a middle-aged woman weighing about 200 pounds was throwing Zhu Xiaolong's luggage out. Landlord, isn't it Zhu Xiaolong's rent payment date yet? It's not a good idea to just throw his luggage out like that, right? The house belongs to me, I can rent it to whoever I want. Besides, doesn't this poor boy always delay paying the rent for several days every month? This time I won't give him any chance at all. I'll throw his luggage away in advance and kick him out. But even though Zhu Xiaolong has been late every month, he has never defaulted on your rent. It's not a good idea for you to go into the room and throw away his luggage without his consent. What if there are valuables in his luggage? What's wrong? You want to help this poor boy, right? Great. Do you want me to have your luggage thrown out? And then have someone beat you up? This. Others didn't dare to say anything. They were all college graduates like Zhu Xiaolong. They knew the power of this landlord in the neighborhood. If they really offended her, they would probably suffer the consequences. But at this moment, there was a sudden roar, and when they were puzzled, a silver-white sports car appeared in front of them like a ferocious beast. Chapter 7, The Arrogant Landlady. The landlady was stunned when she saw the luxury sports car suddenly appear. Then when she saw Zhu Xiaolong walk out of the car, she was even more stunned and did not react for a long time. Zhu Xiaolong, is it really you? Oh my god, I thought I was seeing things. In the end, it was the people nearby who reacted first and screamed. Yes, it's me. What's going on? Landlord, I remember my lease hasn't expired yet. Why did you enter my room and throw my luggage without permission? Yes, I was the one who threw the luggage away. Although you are driving a sports car back now, who knows if you rented it from somewhere just to show off? The female landlord said with disdain. Whether my sports car is rented or not has nothing to do with you. What I'm asking now is why you entered my room without permission and threw out my luggage. Zhu Xiaolong asked seriously. The house belongs to me, I can throw it away if I want. Do you dare to hit me? Let me tell you, this area is my territory. As long as I make a phone call, you can't run fast even if you have a sports car. Humph. The female landlord guessed that Zhu Xiaolong was just a college student from the countryside, so she did not take him seriously. The lease term that I signed with you shouldn't have expired yet, right? Also, the date for paying the rent this month hasn't arrived yet, right? What reason do you have to throw out my luggage and yours? Zhu Xiaolong continued to question. TSK, they are just some cheap stuff. I'll just throw them away, so what? Let me compensate you. That's fine, you can just pay me a few $dozen less in rent this month. Humph. Don't go too far. Let me tell you, this is an era of law. Zhu Xiaolong cursed directly. Oh, you think you can be so arrogant just by renting a sports car? Let me tell you, even if you can really afford a sports car, do you think I'm afraid of you in my territory? Arsan, call someone over and let this kid know how powerful I am. All right, guys. Go ahead. A big man next to the landlady shouted, and immediately more than a dozen people came out from all directions. These people are the thugs that the landlord usually keeps here to deal with those who are unwilling to pay rent or are disobedient. A dozen thugs came out and immediately surrounded Zhu Xiaolong. What do you think? Zhu Xiaolong, now you know how powerful I am. Do you still dare to talk to me so loudly? Let me tell you, if you don't want them to do anything, just apologize to me immediately, otherwise I will not be polite. Humph. The female landlord threatened arrogantly. Zhu Xiaolong, a wise man never suffers a loss in front of him. I think you should just let it go, apologize to her and leave. The neighbor next door kindly advised Zhu Xiaolong. However, Zhu Xiaolong refused to apologize, after all, it was too cowardly. Ding dong, the random sign-in system has started again, rewarding their host with a second chance to draw a lottery today. Would you like to proceed with the draw? Just when Zhu Xiaolong didn't know what to do, the system's voice appeared again. This made Zhu Xiaolong feel strange. Isn't this sign-in system only available for daily sign-ins? He had already signed in once in the hospital, and even won a miracle doctor in the lottery. Why is there a lottery now? But having a lottery is a good thing after all, and now is not the time to ask the system why. Let's draw the lottery first. Will there be a lottery? Smoke. Zhu Xiaolong made the decision without hesitation. The lottery is being drawn. Please wait patiently. The lucky draw was successful. Congratulations to their host for getting a rich sister. I will also reward you with the skill of doubling your spending. The richest woman's sister. Zhu Xiaolong was immediately confused when he heard this. Did this system give out sisters? First it gave me a sister who was a genius doctor, and now it gave me a sister who was the richest person. And what the hell was this skill of doubling the consumption and returning it? Zhu Xiaolong, how is it? Have you thought it through? Don't think you can get away with it by keeping silent. I don't have that much patience. Before Zhu Xiaolong could figure out what was going on, the female landlord continued to threaten him. Who dares to bully my brother here? Just when Zhu Xiaolong was about to say something, a girl's domineering voice suddenly came from behind. Zhu Xiaolong turned around and found a tall young girl in a business suit with curly hair walking towards him. She exuded a charm and unique temperament that made people intoxicated. Following the woman were two tall men in neat suits, who seemed to be her assistants or bodyguards. Who are you? What are you doing entering my neighborhood without permission? The landlady didn't know the woman in front of her, and when she saw that she called Zhu Xiaolong brother, she thought she was also a country girl. So at this time, she was also arrogant and cold. The girl ignored her, but came directly to Zhu Xiaolong and asked with concern, "Brother, are you okay? You are my sister. Yes. I am your second sister Li Yu. What's wrong with you? You don't even recognize your second sister. Are you scared by this fat woman? Don't worry, your second sister will support you. After saying that, Li Yu turned around and came to the front of the female landlord, and asked coldly, "You are the one who wants to bully my brother, right?" Who was I thinking? Turns out to be this country bumpkin's sister? Yes, so what if I want to bully him? Don't think you can act like a big shot just because you brought two men here. Let me tell you, I wasn't brought up to be scared. The female landlord still said arrogantly. Very good, you just said that this neighborhood is yours, right? Of course it's not mine. Could it be yours, a country bumpkin? Humph. Li Yu ignored her and turned to an assistant next to her and said, "Xiao Chen, call Wang An and ask him to come over as soon as possible." Okay, Mr. Li. The assistant nodded, then immediately took out his cell phone and made a call. When the female landlord heard Wang An's call, she was stunned at first, then she thought that the other party was just a country boy. How could he know Wang An, the real boss behind this residential complex? He must be trying to scare her, so she immediately calmed down. Humph, you want to scare me with just a phone call? Do you think I'm a fool? How can a country bumpkin like you know a big shot like Mr. Wang? And even if he does, will he listen to you just because you call him? Stop pretending, it's useless. Just as the landlady finished her arrogant words, a middle-aged man hurriedly ran towards this side from a distance. Getting closer and closer, until finally everyone could see his appearance clearly. Boss Wang, why are you here? After seeing clearly that the person running over was Wang An, the landlady was shocked. Chapter 8 From Arrogance to Humbleness. Wang An ignored the landlady and came directly to Li Yu. Then he lowered his head and said politely, "Boss Li, why are you here? Boss Wang, why are you so polite to this country bumpkin's sister? Are you going to be fooled by her?" The female landlord was still unaware of the situation at this time and continued to commit suicide. With a slap, Wang An turned around and gave the other person a loud slap in the face. "You bastard, you dare to say that the richest man is a country bumpkin? I think you are tired of living, right?" After the beating, Wang An cursed harshly. "What? You said she's the richest person?" "Yes, she is the famous richest woman, Li Yu. You are so bold to bully the richest woman." This. The female landlord was so scared that she knelt on the ground and kowtowed hard to apologize. "Mr. Li, please spare me. I was too quick to speak and accidentally offended you. Please forgive me for the sake of not knowing your true identity. I promise I will never do it again." Seeing this, the other dozen or so thugs immediately knelt down and begged for mercy. "Weren't you very arrogant just now? Didn't you just say that these houses are yours? You can do whatever you want with them. But now you're being cowardly." Li Yu said coldly. "Mr. Li, spare my life. I just said all this nonsense to show off. I know I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. Please, be magnanimous and let me go." The female landlord was so frightened that she trembled and kowtowed, repeatedly begging for mercy. "What do you mean by that? Would it make me a villain if I don't let you go?" No, that's not what I meant. Please let me go, Mr. Li. I'm not a human being. I'm talking nonsense. I should never have offended you. I'm telling you, it wasn't me you offended, it was my brother. It's no use apologizing to me now, you have to apologize to my brother. As for how my brother is going to deal with you, I can't say. Yes. Mr. Ju, I know I was wrong. Please forgive me. I will refund you all the rent you paid before, and also compensate you $10 for the loss of your luggage. The female landlord immediately crawled to Zhu Xiaolong again, then knelt at his feet and begged for mercy. Zhu Xiaolong had no sympathy and simply ignored her. "Boss Wang, I remember that you are in charge of the development of this area of real estate, right?" At this time Li Yu asked Wang An coldly. Har, Mr. Li, you remembered it correctly. I am responsible for this area." Wang An nodded repeatedly and answered affirmatively. "My brother's lease has not yet expired," and she entered the room and dumped his luggage without his consent. "You should know what to do, right?" When Wang An heard this, he looked down and found a lot of messy luggage on the ground. He immediately became angry, walked directly to the female landlord, and cursed, "You are such a fool, you even dare to treat the brother of the richest man Li like this, You are simply impatient to live. From today on, the rental of houses in this area will no longer be under your jurisdiction. In addition, I will ask a lawyer to sue you for your illegal operations of increasing the rent for tenants and embezzling money for yourself over the years, and make you compensate for all the losses. This. The female landlord was so frightened that she collapsed to the ground. She originally thought she could vent her anger with a country guy like Zhu Xiaolong to let out some steam about losing a lot of money in gambling, but she never expected to hit a snag. Over the years, in order to have more gambling money and satisfy her vanity, she had indeed illegally increased the rent without authorization, and had also done a lot of dirty things. If she were to be found out now, she would not only have to pay compensation, but she might also face the risk of going to jail. Thinking of this, she was almost scared out of her wits. She knelt in front of Zhu Xiaolong again, kowtowed and begged for mercy. "Mr. Zhu, I really know I was wrong. Please talk to your sister and let me go. Good brother, we don't need to worry about her. She brought all this upon herself. Come on, I'll take you away from here." Li Yu immediately asked two assistants to help pick up the luggage on the ground, and then took Zhu Xiaolong away from the community. "Second sister, where are you taking me?" Zhu Xiaolong asked curiously. "Of course you have to find a place to live, otherwise are you planning to sleep under the overpass?" Li Yu said jokingly. "Oh. Okay. Thank you, second sister. Don't be so polite to second sister. Tell me, second sister owes you this?" "My second sister owes me." "Yes. Didn't your second sister promise you when you were a child that she would give you a villa when she became rich? I have been busy with business all these years and couldn't find any news about you. Now that I have found you, I naturally have to fulfill this promise. Let's go. In front of us is the highest-end villa area in Bobai City, the Asia-Pacific Lake Villa area." Li Yu said. "What? A villa for free?" Zhu Xiaolong couldn't help but sigh in his heart. Are all the sisters sent by the system so generous? The eldest sister gave him a sports car and hospital shares, and now the second sister is directly giving him a villa. Moreover, the Asia-Pacific Lake Villas is the highest-end villa area in Bobai City. The villas there are priced at tens of millions even for the low-end ones. Good brother, why are you in a daze? Are you unhappy to see your second sister? Seeing that Zhu Xiaolong didn't say anything, Li Yu asked with concern. "Don't get me wrong, second sister. I just feel that happiness comes too suddenly." Zhu Xiaolong reacted and explained immediately. "You, man, I haven't seen you for many years. You've become so sweet. Okay, your sister is going to the bathroom. You wait for me at the door first." After saying that, Li Yu turned around and went to a public restroom next to her. Zhu Xiaolong probably understood that the situation of his second sister Li Yu and his eldest sister Duaner was the same. They were both given a memory of living with him by the system. That's why they believed in their younger brother and loved him so much. It seems that this system is really awesome. "Hey, isn't this Zhu Xiaolong? What are you doing here? Are you looking for a job?" "But there is no recruitment here at the moment. However, since we know each other, how about this? If you really want to find a job, you can come to my office to clean. I think that would suit you." While Zhu Xiaolong was waiting for Li Yu, a young man of similar age passed by the Villa sales center, saw Zhu Xiaolong, and said with contempt, "This person is Xie Qiang, Zhu Xiaolong's classmate in the next class when he was in college." When Tan Yongfang was not together with Zhu Xiaolong, he once pursued Tan Yongfang, but unfortunately Zhu Xiaolong later caught up with him. Therefore, he was envious and jealous of Zhu Xiaolong. In his heart, he always wanted to find an opportunity to take revenge on Zhu Xiaolong. Now seeing Zhu Xiaolong here, he arrogantly thought that the other party was here to look for a job, so he took the opportunity to mock him. "Sorry, I'm not here to look for a job. My second sister and I came here to see the villa," Zhu Xiaolong explained. "What? Looking at villas? Zhu Xiaolong, stop bragging. Others may not know your situation, but I do. You are a college student from the countryside, and you just graduated. Can you afford a villa here? Stop showing off in front of me. Be careful not to get struck by lightning." Har har har. Who said my brother was showing off? Before Xie Qiang's laughter died down, Li Yu just came back from the bathroom and asked coldly. Chapter 9. Dare to say that the richest man is a troublemaker? Xie Qiang heard someone talking behind him, turned around, looked, and asked, "Who are you?" "I'm his second sister." "Did you just say my brother is showing off?" "Oh, so it's the second sister of this country bumpkin." "I remember that this country bumpkin just said that he came to see the villa with his second sister. It seems that you two must be in the same group. Let me tell you, don't show off here, it's useless. I am the sales director here. With just one word from me, you can't even enter the sales center here." Humph. Hearing that she was Zhu Xiaolong's second sister, Xie Qiang, who thought he knew Zhu Xiaolong well, did not take Li Yu seriously. "But, considering that he and I go to the same school, and you're pretty, if you're willing to go out with me tonight, I'll consider letting you guys come here every day to show off. How do you think?" "Asshole." Li Yu slapped Xie Qiang directly, throwing him to the ground. "You country bumpkin, you dare to hit me. I saw that you are pretty and I took a fancy to you. Now that you hit me, don't even think about leaving here safely. Someone, come and stop them quickly." Xie Qiang got up from the ground, covering his painful face and threatening fiercely. What on earth is going on? Just when the security guards surrounded Zhu Xiaolong and Li Yu, a bald middle-aged man suddenly hurried out from the sales center. "Boss Lu, why are you here?" "Nothing happened, just two troublemakers causing trouble in our sales center. In order to maintain the law and order of our sales center, I'm asking people to drive them away." When Xie Qiang saw that it was Lu Ming, the chairman of the Asia Pacific Lake Villa District, he was surprised at first, then he walked over and answered with a smile. "Lu Ming, it seems that your people are quite powerful. This is the first time that I, Li Yu, have been called a troublemaker." Li Yu said coldly at this time. "You son of a bitch, you are simply courting death. How dare you say that Mr. Li is a troublemaker? I must destroy you today. Come on, break one of his legs for me immediately." When Lu Ming heard what Li Yu said, he naturally knew the seriousness of the matter. Although he was also the chairman of a high-end villa area, he was far inferior to Li Yu, the richest man in the country. Now his people had offended Li Yu. If he didn't punish them, how could he explain to them? "Mr. Lu, why is this?" "Why? Do you know who is in front of you? Isn't she Zhu Xiaolong's second sister?" "I know Zhu Xiaolong. He went to the same university as me. He was a student from the countryside. So his second sister must be from the countryside as well." At this time, Xie Qiang still didn't know who he had offended, and kept explaining. With a par sound, Lu Ming slapped him hard. Due to his unstable standing, he fell to the ground again, and two of his front teeth were knocked out. "You bastard, she is the richest woman Li Yu, worth over 100 billion. How dare you offend her? And you even dare to call her a troublemaker? I think you are simply tired of living. Come on, break his legs for me immediately." Lu Ming cursed fiercely. "What? She is the legendary richest woman Li Yu? This?" Xie Qiang's face was filled with fear, and he finally realized that he was in big trouble. In order to save his life, he immediately knelt on the ground, kowtowed and begged for mercy. "Boss Li, spare my life. Please spare my life, I really didn't know it was you who came. If I knew it was you, I wouldn't dare to do it even if I had 10 guts." "Humph. You weren't so humble just now. Didn't you just say that you could prevent us from entering the sales center with just one word? What's wrong? Are you kneeling down now? Mr. Li, please spare me. I just didn't know my place. I was talking nonsense. I was blind. Please forgive me this time. Mr. Zhu, for the sake of our acquaintance, please talk to your sister and let me go. I promise that I will never dare to go against you again. I will never dare to do that again." Seeing that Li Yu ignored him, Xie Qiang cleverly played the emotional card with Zhu Xiaolong. "Sorry, it's too late. How did you act so arrogantly just now? And how did you treat us? Also, even if we are ordinary people, even if we are from the countryside, don't we deserve to come in here and look at the house? Don't we deserve the same respect?" This. Xie Qiang was so frightened that he collapsed to the ground. Then he uttered a painful wail, and saw that the security guard had hit his right leg directly with a stick, causing his entire right leg to bend almost 90 degrees. "You bastard, let me tell you, you even dare to have improper thoughts about Mr. Li. You are lucky enough to be alive. From tomorrow on, you don't have to come to work in our sales center. We don't need a useless person either. Get out of here right now. Lu Ming said seriously. Yes, yes, yes. I'll leave right now. I'll leave right now. Xie Chong didn't dare to delay any longer. He dragged his crippled leg and left the place in a mess. As for why Zhu Xiaolong has a sister who is the richest person in the world, his mind is filled with 100,000 questions. Har har, Mr. Li, I'm so sorry. I came down directly after receiving your call. Who would have thought that there would be such a jerk in the sales center who offended you? I hope you can forgive me. After Xie Chong left, Lu Ming politely apologized to Li Yu. Anyway, he has already received the lesson he deserved, and this matter is over. I came here today to buy a villa for my brother, and I hope Mr. Lu can make good arrangements for it. Li Yu said coldly. Of course, of course. Please follow me, I will personally receive you this time. Lu Ming said politely. The Asia-Pacific Lake Villa District is indeed a high-end villa district in Bobai City. The various gardens and bamboo forests inside are like a paradise. Zhu Xiaolong felt a very comfortable feeling when he entered. Mr. Li, this villa has 2.5 floors, top-notch design, luxurious decoration, and is worth 100 million. Are you satisfied? Lu Ming knew that Li Yu, a richest man, would naturally want a luxurious villa, so the first villa he took them to see was one of the best villas here. Good brother, are you satisfied with this? If you are, this is the one. Li Yu turned and said to Zhu Xiaolong. A villa worth 100 million? Zhu Xiaolong was stunned when he heard the price. In the past, he would never have dared to dream of these things. Now it was right in front of him. He could have them as long as he agreed. Good brother, what's wrong with you? Are you feeling unwell? Let me take a good look at you. Seeing that Zhu Xiaolong didn't say anything, Li Yu thought he had a cold, so she used her delicate hand to check the temperature of Zhu Xiaolong's forehead. It's strange, there's nothing wrong with you. What happened to you? Were you scared to death by that kid just now? Li Yu continued to ask with concern. Chapter 10, 100 Million Villa. After Zhu Xiaolong reacted, he quickly explained, Second sister, I'm fine, I'm just a little touched that you're so kind to me. Why are you being polite to me again? Let's go in and take a look. If you like it, this is the only one. After saying that, Li Yu directly put her arm around Zhu Xiaolong's hand. In her memory, Zhu Xiaolong is her younger brother, and such behavior between an older sister and a younger brother is very normal. But Zhu Xiaolong was different. He knew very well that all this was given by the system, and so was this sister. So when a beautiful CEO like Li Yu came into such close contact with him, he still felt a little uncomfortable. Mr. Li, Mr. Zhu, how is this villa? Are you satisfied with it? After taking a tour, Lu Ming asked with a smile on his face. It all depends on my brother's opinion. Anyway, I bought it for him. It's fine as long as he is satisfied. Li Yu said. Har har, the decoration of this villa is very good in every aspect. I am personally satisfied with it, but as long as you are satisfied, Mr. Lu, this is the only building we have. Please arrange for your people to bring the contract over. Zhu Xiaolong originally wanted to say that the price was just too high, but Li Yu didn't give him the opportunity at all and directly asked Lu Ming to arrange someone to get the contract. Lu Ming was naturally very happy to hear this. After all, it was not easy to sell such an expensive villa. How could he miss such a big fish? He immediately called someone to quickly bring the contract over. After Li Yu paid the money and completed the contract procedures, the villa officially belonged to Zhu Xiaolong. Zhu Xiaolong lay on the soft sofa and immediately felt comfortable and refreshed. This was a feeling he had never experienced before. Second sister, I feel like I'm dreaming. Thank you for being so kind to me. Zhu Xiaolong said gratefully. If you talk to your second sister like that again, I will spank you, just like when you were a disobedient child. Li Yu said with a ferocious expression. Har har, did you often spank me when we were kids? Why don't I remember it? Zhu Xiaolong said with a smile. Of course, you were very naughty when you were a child, and every time I spanked you, you would be obedient. So whenever you were naughty and your parents couldn't control you, they would ask me to spank you. You were also most afraid of me spanking you. Li Yu said with a smile. Okay, in order to avoid being spanked by my second sister, I will listen to her from now on. That's about right. Well, your second sister, have a very important meeting to attend later, so I won't have time to accompany you. Leave your phone number to me, and we can get together again some other day. Li Yu looked at the time on her watch and said. Zhu Xiaolong gave Li Yu his phone number. Second sister, you are such a busy person. But I am having dinner with my eldest sister tonight, do you want to come with us? I can't make it in time for dinner, after all, I have to accompany a client here. Let's eat together another day. Okay, that's it. I'll call you to talk when I'm done. Bye. After saying that, Li Yu stood up and prepared to leave. Zhu Xiaolong personally escorted her out of the villa's door, then turned back after watching her beautiful back as she left. After returning to the villa, he found a tall young girl in a tight white business suit in the lobby, and he was quite curious. Who are you? Why are you entering my hall? Hello, Mr. Zhu, you're back. I'm the director of the service center of the Asia Pacific Lake Villa District. Our general manager Lu has instructed me to clean you regularly every day. So I will be responsible for your hygiene from now on. My full name is Chen Wei, you can just call me Xie Wei. The young girl turned around and explained with a smile. Oh? Is there such a service? Yes. You are the distinguished owner of our Asia Pacific Lake Villa District, so we will provide you with the most considerate and enthusiastic service. You can ask me to do anything in the future. This is my business card. You can contact me 24 hours a day if you need anything. After saying that, Chen Wei blinked her beautiful big eyes at Zhu Xiaolong. Chen Wei has been working in the villa area for many years, and she has never seen a man who is so young and can own a villa worth 100 million yuan. And the most fatal thing is that this man is so tall and handsome. She, who is obsessed with appearance, fell in love with Zhu Xiaolong at the first sight. As the director of the waiter center, she didn't need to do these things personally, but this time she still came specially to take over the cleaning and service work of Zhu Xiaolong's villa. So that's how it is. Okay then. Thank you, Xie Wei. After Zhu Xiaolong understood what was going on, he thanked him. You're welcome. Remember to contact me anytime if you need anything in the future. I can even buy you daily necessities. Chen Wei continued enthusiastically. Zhu Xiaolong looked at Chen Wei after hearing this. She had fair skin and a body that was big where it should be big and curvy where it should be curvy. She was not much different from her predecessor, Tan Yongfang. It was a good thing to have such a beauty serving him. Okay, I've got that. I'll bother you if I need anything. Zhu Xiaolong nodded. Har har, no trouble, it's my honor to serve Mr. Zhu. Chen Wei said with a smile, and then continued to clean up the environment for Zhu Xiaolong carefully. She was willing to leave only when Zhu Xiaolong said he was satisfied. Only after Chen Wei left did Zhu Xiaolong feel comfortable asking about some things in the system. He opened the system virtual screen that only he could see, and then asked, System, why can I have a second chance after I have already drawn the lottery once today? Host, this is a random sign-in system, not a daily sign-in system. It means that the sign-in is random and there are no rules. However, there is a limit on the number of times. You can only sign in 3 times a day, and you can only draw 3 times. And there may be times when there is no sign-in or draw. Oh. I see. Does that mean I have a third chance to draw a lottery today? You can say yes, but you can also say no. It's all random. It just says the maximum number of times is 3, not that there are 3 chances every day. Anyway, it's a random sign-in system, everything is random and may appear at any time, or it may not appear. Zhu Xiaolong finally understood after hearing this. Although it was unstable, it was better to have it than not to have it. Especially now that he had tasted the benefits that the system had brought him, he was even more excited. After turning off the system's virtual screen, he lay on the sofa again and felt it all quietly. It was still so dreamy, but so real. Dear students, tonight at 9:30, I will treat you at the Dynasty Singing Club. You must come. Zhu Xiaolong opened his eyes, opened WeChat and looked at the class group, and found that the rich second-generation Liu Guangyan in the group was posting a message tagging everyone. Liu Guangyan was a typical rich second generation who pretended to be cool. His personality was similar to Xie Qiang's. He looked down on country folk and poor people. When Zhu Xiaolong was in school, he didn't like him. So after reading the message, he didn't plan to go over. Especially Zhu Xiaolong and Li Chao. You are the only 2 college students from the countryside in our class. This is a rare opportunity to experience a high-end club. Don't miss it. If I hadn't bought a house in full to celebrate, I wouldn't have given you such a chance. But just when Zhu Xiaolong was about to close WeChat, Liu Guangyan suddenly sent a message again, and this time the message directly tagged himself and another classmate named Li Chao. Chapter 11. Activate the consumption double return skill. Like Zhu Xiaolong, Li Chao is from the countryside, and has been discriminated against by rich second generations such as Liu Guangyan over the years. Now Liu Guangyan is obviously showing off that he just bought a house in full, and then deliberately tagged Zhu Xiaolong and Li Chao to show his superiority. Zhu Xiaolong had no intention of paying any attention to this pretentious guy, but since you want to show off so much, then I will grant your wish. So Zhu Xiaolong deliberately replied, okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Liu. I will be there on time tonight. Zhu Xiaolong calculated the time and thought it should be about time for him and his elder sister to finish dinner. Zhu Xiaolong's reply surprised everyone in the group. After all, they thought Zhu Xiaolong was avoiding the topic, but they didn't expect him to reply so quickly. Xiaolong, why did you decide to go? A man like Liu Guangyan will definitely despise you even more to show his nobility. You will be asking for trouble if you go. A classmate who shared a dormitory with Zhu Xiaolong sent a private message to persuade him. It's okay. It's not certain who will despise whom by then. You just wait. Zhu Xiaolong replied calmly. In the past, Zhu Xiaolong might not have gone back. But now he has a villa worth 100 million yuan, so what does it mean for you, Liu Guangyan, to buy a house? Compared with a villa worth 100 million yuan, it is not even on the same level. Well, then, you'll have to take care of yourself. This is all I can say. Thank you, Zhang. See you tonight. After Zhu Xiaolong sent the message, he didn't check WeChat again. It was almost time now, he had to pack his luggage, take a shower, change clothes and go out. At 5 o'clock in the afternoon, Duana called and asked Zhu Xiaolong to drive to the Vienna restaurant. Zhu Xiaolong changed into new clothes and prepared to go out. Along the way, the young ladies at the Villa Service Center couldn't help but look at Zhu Xiaolong a few more times when they saw him. Although Zhu Xiaolong was poor, he was still a popular school idol. Especially with his height of 1.8 meters and handsome face, the reason why he was able to pursue Tan Yongfang was because of his superb appearance. Now that he has a villa worth 100 million yuan, these young ladies think that such a man is even more perfect. Mr. Zhu, are you going out? Chen Wei came over to say hello immediately. Yes, I'm going out for dinner. Do I need a card when I come back tonight? I just checked in today, so I don't have one. If it were an ordinary person, he would definitely need a card to enter our villa area, but you are different. You don't need it. You can do whatever you want. Chen Wei replied. Okay, got it, thank you. Although these young ladies all had first-rate figures with curvy curves, Zhu Xiaolong did not say much. He simply replied and drove out in his car. Wow! So cool! Not only does he have a villa worth 100 million, but he also has such a stylish sports car. When the women saw Zhu Xiaolong roaring away in his sports car, they couldn't help but exclaim in amazement. When he arrived at the Vienna restaurant, Duana was already waiting for him at the door. Good brother, you are finally here. Duana opened her arms to welcome him, and Zhu Xiaolong gave her a gentle hug. When he pulled away, the faint fragrance of Duana still lingered on his body. Sister, I'm sorry, there was a traffic jam on the road and kept you waiting for a long time. It's okay, it's still early. Come on, let's go in first. After Duana brought Zhu Xiaolong into the box, all the shareholders sitting in the box stood up to express their welcome. They witnessed Zhu Xiaolong's miraculous medical skills today, so they all admired him very much. And they also knew in their hearts that if it weren't for Zhu Xiaolong today, this crisis would probably not be resolved. Almost all the shareholders came, except Li Dawei, who was too embarrassed to come. He was drunk at home at this time. Mr. Zhu, come on, we drove here today, so we won't drink. I'll offer you a glass of tea instead of wine. We'll be colleagues from now on, so let's communicate more. Yes. Mr. Zhu, I'd like to toast you as well. I apologize for what I said in the conference room today. Influenced by Li Dawei, I also had the intention to offend Mr. Zhu at first. I hope Mr. Zhu can forgive me for the fact that we are colleagues in the future. These shareholders toasted Zhu Xiaolong to express their apologies today. Everyone, we are colleagues from now on. I am young and don't understand many things yet. I hope you can give me some guidance. As for what happened before, I don't remember it. Let's just eat and drink happily tonight. Ju Xiaolong said generously. Duanna was very happy to see that her younger brother was so sensible. Good brother, you really didn't disappoint me. Come, sister, I'll toast you a glass. After Ju Xiaolong and others finished drinking, Duanna came over and said, Okay, thank you, big sister. If it weren't for this sister, Ju Xiaolong would not have everything he has now, so he is very grateful to this sister. Ding dong, it is detected that the host has not activated the skill of doubling consumption. Would you like to activate it? Just after Ju Xiaolong and Duanna had a drink, the system's voice appeared in their minds again. When Ju Xiaolong heard this, he remembered something. When he won the lottery this afternoon, the richest sister also gave him a so-called spending double return skill. However, because this skill was too sudden, he has not yet activated it. So what are you waiting for? Activation. The skill of doubling consumption is being activated, please wait patiently. Congratulations host, the double consumption return skill has been activated. The double consumption return skill means that no matter how much you spend, it will be doubled and returned to your account. Oh my god, I actually have such a skill. Isn't that rich? Ju Xiaolong was worried that although he had a villa and a sports car, he didn't have much savings. Now that he had this skill of doubling his spending, what was there to worry about? He could just spend like crazy. However, in order to test whether this skill of doubling consumption and getting a refund is really so magical, he plans to pay for dinner himself tonight. So, when everyone was almost done eating, he stood up and said generously, Everyone, this is the first time I'm having dinner with you, so tonight's bill is on me. Brother, what are you doing? Didn't we agree that I would treat you tonight? Duanna asked in confusion. I know my elder sister is good to me, but this time we are not having dinner alone. We are all having dinner together. How about you just treat this as an opportunity for me to express my sincerity to everyone? Ju Xiaolong explained. Okay, since you are so sensible, I will obey you this time. But don't compete with me for the bill in the future. Don't worry, it's just this time. If you want to pay the bill in the future, I will never stop you. Ju Xiaolong agreed. After saying that, Ju Xiaolong stood up and walked to the cashier counter. Chapter 12, Making Money is Too Easy. Hello, sir. Your consumption in the box totaled $30,080. After deducting the decimal, we will charge you $30,000. The front desk clerk answered with a smile on his face. Ju Xiaolong was shocked when he heard this. He had never thought that the cost of living here was so high. A meal would cost 30,000 yuan. If it were in the past, he would never have dared to imagine it. But now that I have the skill to double my spending and get paid back, I never mind, I'll just go for it and try swiping my credit card directly. Can I pay with a credit card? Of course, please wait, we will do it for you. The other party took Ju Xiaolong's credit card, operated it for a while, asked Ju Xiaolong to enter the password, and then sign. Ding dong, it is detected that the host has just spent 30,000 yuan. Do you want to use the skill of doubling the consumption? As soon as Ju Xiaolong signed to confirm, the system voice immediately appeared. Yes. Ju Xiaolong answered in his heart. The double return is in progress. Congratulations to the host for successfully doubling the return. You spent 30,000 yuan this time, and the return is 60,000 yuan. As soon as the system's voice ended, Ju Xiaolong received a text message on his mobile phone indicating that 60,000 yuan had been deposited. After seeing the money deposited into his bank card, Ju Xiaolong was already very sure that this skill of doubling the payment was real. For the first time, Ju Xiaolong felt that making money could be so easy. With this skill of doubling your spending and getting a return on it, wouldn't it be easy to achieve a small goal of 100 million in the future? Thinking of this, Ju Xiaolong became very excited. Sir, this is your credit card, please keep it. Seeing Ju Xiaolong standing there in a daze, the cashier reminded him with a smile. Thanks. After Ju Xiaolong took his credit card, he paid off the 30,000 yuan he had just spent online and made 30,000 yuan for free. But now 30,000 yuan is nothing to him. After all, he has the skill of doubling his spending, so he can get more money as long as he spends more. My dear brother, what took you so long? Is there something wrong? Seeing that Zhu Xiaolong hadn't come back for such a long time, Duana was worried that something had happened, so she went out to check. Sister, it's okay. Let's go in. Zhu Xiaolong replied. That's good. I was worried that you didn't have any money. If you do, remember to tell me anytime. Thank you, big sister. I don't need your money for the time being. With this skill of doubling his spending and returning it back, Zhu Xiaolong no longer has to worry about money. Therefore, he does not plan to ask Duwaner for money at this time. After sitting and chatting with Duwaner and the others for another half an hour, seeing that the time was almost up, he decided to go to the Dynasty Singing Club. Duwaner had her own things to deal with, so she didn't care where her brother was going. She just gave him a few instructions and left. When Zhu Xiaolong arrived here, he found that the parking space was full. Helplessly, he could only temporarily park his sports car at an intersection. At this time, the security guard also ran over immediately. Sir, this is an intersection. It's not a good idea to park your car here. What if other guests want to drive out? The security guard explained patiently. I know, but your parking spaces are full and I have no place to park my car. How about this? I'll go in first, and if a customer wants to drive out later, you can ask me to come out and drive the car aside. Zhu Xiaolong suggested. That's okay? Tell me which box you want to go to first, so that I can come find you later. The security guard nodded in agreement. Box 888, my last name is Zhu, just come to me directly when you come. Zhu Xiaolong replied. Okay, that's fine, you go in. The security guard was easy to talk to and did not make things difficult for Zhu Xiaolong. Zhu Xiaolong walked straight in and came to box number 888 booked by Liu Guangyan and his friends. There were already more than a dozen students sitting in the box. When they saw Zhu Xiaolong really appear, they were all surprised. Hey, Zhu Xiaolong, you really came. Please take a seat. I just bought a house in full today. I'm so happy. I'll pay for everything tonight. When Liu Guangyan said, I bought a house with full payment, he deliberately used a loud voice, as if he was afraid that others would not know that he had bought a house. Zhu Xiaolong knew that this guy came here tonight just to show off, so he had already made plans. He smiled and said deliberately, really? Then congratulations, Mr. Liu. The house you bought must be very expensive, right? It may be difficult for you to buy it in your lifetime, but for me it's okay, it's just over 1 million. Liu Guangyan replied. Not bad, more than 1 million is fine. What do you mean? Over 1 million is enough? You sound like you can afford a house worth over 1 million. Liu Guangyan said proudly. Okay, Xiaolong, you just came here, don't talk too much. Come, I'll toast you a glass. The one who stood up was Li Chao. In order to ease Zhu Xiaolong's embarrassment, he stood up deliberately and planned to drink with Zhu Xiaolong. Thank you, Mr. Li, but I drove here and it's not convenient for me to drink. Let me just drink a beverage. Zhu Xiaolong replied. What? You drove here? Zhu Xiaolong, you will die if you don't show off. How can a freshly graduated college student like you afford a car? I think it's a shared bike. There's no penalty for drunk driving on those bikes, so just drink without worry. Liu Guangyan once again seized the opportunity to mock and attack Zhu Xiaolong, and each time he did so was more blatant than the last. Although other students thought Liu Guangyan's words were a bit too much, they also thought that Zhu Xiaolong was unlikely to be able to afford a car. After all, they were all classmates and knew Zhu Xiaolong's family situation. Zhu Xiaolong didn't intend to prove himself immediately. He just smiled and didn't explain anything. That's right. A country boy has the nerve to say he didn't drink when he drove here. I think he's giving young Master Liu no face. A classmate who usually liked to follow Liu Guangyan came out and continued to despise Zhu Xiaolong. Zhu Xiaolong, what do you mean? I'm happy to invite my classmates to sing and drink tonight, but you are deliberately pretending to be cool to spoil my fun, right? Liu Guangyan asked angrily. I really didn't mean that. I was just driving and was afraid of having an accident, so I didn't dare to drink. I just had tea with my sister while having dinner, and I didn't even dare to touch alcohol. Zhu Xiaolong explained. Okay, you said you drove here? Tell me, what car did you drive? I don't believe that a college graduate from the countryside like you can afford a car. Liu Guangyan asked relentlessly. Chapter 13, let you act cool and go crazy. Liu Guangyan's follower classmate also continued to taunt him at this time. You're not going to say that the sports car at the entrance of the Dynasty Singing Club was driven by you, right? Har 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 har. Liu Guangyan said this not because he really doubted that the car was driven by Zhu Xiaolong, but because he meant it ironically. That's why he laughed after he finished speaking, indicating that Zhu Xiaolong didn't know his own limitations. You're right, I saw that sports car when I walked in just now. It looks like an Aston Martin DB11. It said that this sports car costs more than 3 million. I saw it too, but it's a pity that the security guard was standing there the whole time, otherwise I really wanted to go over and take a picture and post it on WeChat Moments to show off. Only cars like this parked at the entrance of the road were not complained by the security guards. If ordinary cars were parked there, they would have been driven away long ago. If my boyfriend could afford a sports car like this, I would do anything she asked me to do. Unfortunately, I can't imagine having a boyfriend like this in my lifetime. That sports car is so cool. I envy anyone who owns one. As soon as this classmate picked up the sports car, many people began to talk about it with envious and admiring expressions on their faces. Zhu Xiaolong just smiled faintly and said nothing. Zhu Xiaolong, you haven't answered me yet. What car did you drive here? If you can't tell me, I'm not giving me face today. Let me tell you, those who don't give me, young Master Liu, face in Bobai City always have a miserable ending. Seeing that Zhu Xiaolong didn't say anything, Liu Guangyan continued to press the issue. Zhu Xiaolong was about to say something when the door of the box was pushed open and a man in a security uniform walked in. Hello, Mr. Zhu. A customer is about to drive out. Could you please move your sports car aside so that the customer can get out? The security guard came to Zhu Xiaolong and spoke directly. This stunned, completely stunned everyone in the audience. Their eyes were wide open, with expressions of disbelief on their faces. What's going on? Zhu Xiaolong actually drove that sports car here? Isn't this news too shocking? Oh my god, Zhu Xiaolong is driving a sports car here. The one that costs over 3 million. If the security guard hadn't come over and told me, I really wouldn't have believed it. What day is today? Why is there such shocking news? The students who reacted were all amazed. Liu Guangyan's face was full of embarrassment and ugliness. Just now, he was still mocking Zhu Xiaolong for bragging, but what about now? Now someone really drove over, and it was a sports car worth more than 3 million. Who was bragging? The result was clear at a glance. His follower also covered his face with his hands in embarrassment and sat obediently aside, not daring to say a word. Got it. I'll go out and drive away right away. Zhu Xiaolong responded and was about to go out. Then he thought of something and turned around and said, Classmates, I have other things to do tonight, so it's not convenient for me to drink. Let's drink together another day when we have time. Goodbye. After saying that, Zhu Xiaolong walked out in a cool manner amid everyone's shocked gazes. The purpose of Zhu Xiaolong's trip was just to give Liu Guangyan a slap in the face for his pretentiousness. Now that his goal had been achieved, there was no need for him to stay any longer. Otherwise, it would only make Liu Guangyan more embarrassed and ashamed. For the sake of being classmates, he should give him some face. So, after driving the car out, he went straight back to the villa. Sure enough, although he didn't have an access card, the security guard was very polite when he saw him, as if he was meeting a senior leader. After taking a shower, Zhu Xiaolong lay on the soft sofa and immediately felt comfortable again. He casually opened WeChat to see if there were any messages, and then found that Liu Guangyan was still showing off in the group. Who knows if his sports car was rented? Otherwise, think about it, how could someone who had nothing before suddenly have a sports car worth more than 3 million? What young Master Liu said makes sense. This country bumpkin deliberately rented a sports car and came here. Then, because the rental fee was too expensive, he made an excuse that he had something to do and went back. That's why he left so quickly. Zhu Xiaolong smiled faintly. He didn't expect that he wanted to give Liu Guangyan the last bit of dignity, but he didn't intend to take it. Well, then it's not my fault. Let me tell you, I have a relative who runs a sports car rental shop. I just called to confirm, and he told me that someone rented an Aston Martin from him this afternoon. As soon as Liu Guangyan said this, everyone in the classmates group began to suspect whether Zhu Xiaolong's sports car was really rented. This made Liu Guangyan even more proud, and he continued. Oh, it's so sad. Seeing others buy a house worth more than 1 million yuan, they deliberately rent a luxury car to show off. This is the thinking of country people. Master Liu is right. Master Liu is right. Okay, to prove that I really bought a house, I'll take a picture of the real estate contract and other documents for you to see. Liu Guangyan's move was undoubtedly to show off himself. Is a house worth over $1 million so amazing? Just after Liu Guangyan announced his house contract, Zhu Xiaolong finally spoke in the group. Oh, the guy who rented a luxury car to show off finally showed up. Great, you dare to say that a house worth more than 1 million is nothing? Okay, if you have the guts, can you show me a real estate contract worth more than 1 million? Seeing Zhu Xiaolong speaking, Liu Guangyan immediately started to mock him again. That's right. A college student from the countryside dares to look down on our young Master Liu. It's simply hilarious. You are such a dog and slave, it's so funny. Your parents gave birth to you, but you flatter people like a dog all day long. Don't you feel ashamed? I feel ashamed for your parents. Zhu Xiaolong said directly. You? Don't worry. Didn't he say that a house worth over 1 million yuan is nothing special? Do you have the guts to ask him to show a contract for a house worth over 1 million yuan? Humph, if he does, I will immediately change my WeChat name to Zhu Xiaolong is my grandfather. If he can't, he can just change his WeChat name to I am a fool. Har har har. Liu Guangyan was sure that Zhu Xiaolong could not afford a house worth more than 1 million yuan, so he dared to say so. Yes, what young Master Liu said makes sense. If you have the ability, why don't you take out a house contract worth more than 1 million yuan? How about it? You can't take out one, right? Har har har, let's just call him a fool from now on. Chapter 14, The Crush of a $100 Million Villa. Zhu Xiaolong smiled faintly. He stood up and took a video of himself in the lobby of the villa with his mobile phone, then went to the drawer to take out the relevant contracts signed today, and took a photo of them all. Har har har, classmates, did you see that? This pretentious guy doesn't dare to say anything anymore. Let's just call him a fool from now on. Since Zhu Xiaolong took some time to take the photo, Liu Guangyan and the others thought that Zhu Xiaolong was afraid to speak, which made them even more proud and arrogant. Xiaolong, you don't need to bother with them. That's just the way they are. Li Chao, who also came from the countryside like Zhu Xiaolong, sent Zhu Xiaolong a private message to comfort him. Don't worry, they will know what embarrassment and awkwardness are soon. Zhu Xiaolong replied. I think Zhu Xiaolong is really interesting. In fact, I like him very much because when he is around, I feel like there is something funny every day. Har 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 har. Mr. Liu is right. Although he is a country bumpkin, he can always make us laugh. So, we are grateful that we have such a classmate in our class. Liu Guangyan and the others continued to mock Zhu Xiaolong in the group, but before their laughter had finished, Zhu Xiaolong directly sent the videos and pictures he had taken to the group. In an instant, the group fell silent. Shocked. 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 Oh my god, a villa worth 100 million. Am I seeing this right? Is this true? The legendary villa worth 100 million was bought by Zhu Xiaolong. Classmate Zhu, I'm so jealous of you. You own a villa worth 100 million yuan at such a young age. No, you even own a sports car. Your net worth is way higher than any of us. Compared to the villa worth 100 million, Liu Guangyan's house worth more than 1 million is nothing. This is the truth that there is no harm without comparison. Can someone who owns a villa worth 100 million yuan not be able to afford a sports car worth more than 3 million yuan? Does anyone still suspect that Zhu Xiaolong's sports car is rented? I admire you so much. Classmate Zhu, you are simply my idol. The students who reacted started to tap their fingers and send messages of envy, jealousy and hatred in the group. This made Liu Guangyan and the others extremely embarrassed. This was the second time they had made a fool of themselves in front of their classmates. Liu Guangyan never thought that Zhu Xiaolong would own a villa worth 100 million yuan, so he made a bet with the other party without hesitation, saying that if he lost, he would change his WeChat name to Zhu Xiaolong is my grandfather. But what about now? Now my house worth more than 1 million is simply not on the same level as the villa worth 100 million. I remember someone said that if Xiaolong could post the house contract, he would change his WeChat name to Zhu Xiaolong is my grandfather. I think I remembered it correctly, right? Especially now that some classmates were deliberately reminding him in the group, Liu Guangyan felt completely embarrassed and awkward. Yes, Liu Guangyan, don't forget the bet you made with Zhu Xiaolong. Our whole class is watching. I don't think Liu Guangyan is that kind of person. You have to admit defeat when you make a bet. Now that you've lost to Zhu Xiaolong, please change your WeChat name. Could it be that Liu Guangyan is deliberately pretending not to see the group message? This won't do. A man should bravely fulfill his bet. At this time, other classmates were also tagging Liu Guangyan in the group. Liu Guangyan had to change his WeChat name to Zhu Xiaolong is my grandpa, and then he went offline directly because he was embarrassed to read the messages in the group. Damn it, what happened to Zhu Xiaolong? Did he win the lottery recently? He's either got a sports car or a villa. Liu Guangyan was so angry that he smashed his phone to the ground and cursed. In the classmates group, after seeing that Liu Guangyan really changed his WeChat name to Zhu Xiaolong is my grandpa, everyone cheered as if watching a show. Especially those students who could not stand Liu Guangyan's arrogance, all jumped out bravely at this time. Mr. Zhu, you are amazing. You became a grandfather without even getting married. I admire you so much. I really admire you so much. From now on, Zhu will be my idol. He bought a sports car and a villa at a young age, and now he's someone's grandfather. He's a real winner in life. Xiaolong is really low-key. He is not like some people who buy a house and show off everywhere. Now, you are embarrassed, right? You have become someone else's grandson, right? Li Chao, who also came from the countryside to study, felt very happy when he saw Zhu Xiaolong slap Liu Guangyan's arrogant face. I immediately sent another private message to Zhu Xiaolong. Xiaolong, thank you for bringing honor to our college students from the countryside, and thank you for teaching Liu Guangyan a lesson. Now he will never look down on our college students from the countryside again. You're welcome. I just don't like his style. You should try your best too. I believe you can change your life as long as you work hard. Zhu Xiaolong encouraged Li Chao. Oh, don't think about it. I haven't found a job recently. My main task right now is to find a job first. Li Chao replied. Work? You don't have a job yet. There are internship jobs in hospitals, but my parents are sick and need money, and internships are a waste of time, so I plan to find a job first. When my family's financial situation improves in the future, I will take the civil service exam or something. Li Chao replied. Zhu Xiaolong could understand Li Chao's idea. After all, studying medicine is a long process. Not to mention that there is no money during the internship. Even after the internship, you still need to undergo 3 years of regular training before you can start working. And families with poor financial conditions cannot afford to wait. Now Li Chao's parents are sick and need money, so naturally he wants to find a good job and make some money to supplement the family expenses. How about this, Li Chao, I'll take care of the work. What? It's up to you? Really? Of course. When have I ever lied to you? Just tell me where you live and I'll come find you tomorrow. Zhu Xiaolong said affirmatively. Zhu Xiaolong plans to take Li Chao to see his second sister, the richest sister, tomorrow. She is a domineering and beautiful CEO with so many companies under her, so it should not be difficult to arrange a good job for Li Chao. Thank you, Xiaolong. I am so touched by you. Don't be polite, this is what classmates should do. Okay, I'm sleepy, see you tomorrow. Zhu Xiaolong didn't chat much with Li Chao. After turning off his phone, he fell asleep. When I woke up the next day and just finished washing up, there was a knock on the door. What was going on? Could it be that the richest sister came to see him so early? Zhu Xiaolong moved to their villa only yesterday afternoon, and no one knew about it except him and the richest woman's sister. So at this time, he really couldn't think of anyone else except his elegant richest woman's sister. Chapter 15, Young Master Liu still has not given up. Zhu Xiaolong walked out and opened the door, only to find that it was Chen Wei from the service center. Good morning, Mr. Zhu. Do you need me to bring you a breakfast set? Chen Wei said to Zhu Xiaolong with a smile. So it's you. You also have breakfast delivery service. Of course, you are the distinguished owner of our villa area. We can deliver breakfast to you for free. Oh. Okay, but I don't need it today. I'll contact you in advance if I need it in the future. Okay then, what's Mr. Zhu's WeChat ID? If you need anything in the future, just communicate with me directly on WeChat. Chen Wei plucked up the courage to ask for Zhu Xiaolong's WeChat. This was the first time she had met such a handsome and wealthy sponsor, so naturally she wanted to get in touch with him more often. Zhu Xiaolong generously gave his WeChat address to Chen Wei, which made Chen Wei smile inside. Thank you, Mr. Zhu. I won't bother you anymore. If you need anything, please feel free to contact me on WeChat. Chen Wei blinked her beautiful big eyes at Zhu Xiaolong, then left with a smile on her face. Zhu Xiaolong didn't pay too much attention to this woman. He changed his clothes, put on his shoes, and drove out to find Li Chao. Today he is going to take Li Chao to see his second sister Li Yu, so he has to set off early and then call his second sister. Li Yu just went to the office and was very happy to see Zhu Xiaolong's phone call. She immediately pressed the answer button. My dear brother, you called me so early and asked me if I missed you. You guessed it right. I really miss you, so I will come to find you later. Zhu Xiaolong said. Really? That's great, then you can just come to the Li group directly. Call me when you arrive and I'll go out to pick you up. Li Yu said happily. Okay. But second sister, besides missing you, I came to see you for another reason. Oh. I knew you wouldn't come to see me just because you missed me. Tell me, what's the matter? That's not the case. I really miss my second sister in my heart, but missing her doesn't conflict with other things. Zhu Xiaolong explained. Okay, second sister won't care about these. Tell me, what's your matter? I have a classmate who is studying medicine like me, but his family situation is not good and he needs money. So he doesn't plan to do an internship and wants to find a job. Can you arrange that for him? Zhu Xiaolong said directly. This matter? It's simple. Just bring him to my place and I'll ask my subordinates to make the arrangements. Li Yu agreed readily. Thank you, second sister. See you later. After saying that, Zhu Xiaolong hung up the phone. Xiaolong, is it true that you are going to help me find a job today? At this time, Li Chao had already walked down from his accommodation and asked with concern. Don't worry, what I said is a promise and I will never lie to you. Get in the car, we'll go have breakfast and look for a job later. Zhu Xiaolong said confidently. Li Chao nodded half doubtfully, then got into Zhu Xiaolong's Aston Martin. It's so comfortable. It seems there's a reason why so many girls want to be the co-pilot of a sports car. After sitting in it, it feels so cool. Li Chao sighed deeply at this time. After the two finished breakfast, Zhu Xiaolong navigated directly to the Li group. Just as I was about to go in, I was stopped by the security guard. Hello, who are you looking for? Do you have an appointment in advance? The security guard came over and asked politely. I've made an appointment with your general manager Li. Zhu Xiaolong replied. Boss Li. Boy, are you kidding me? Boss Li is such a high-ranking person that she can ignore the face of the top leader of the city and make an appointment with you, boy. The security guard said with disdain. Although Zhu Xiaolong was driving a sports car, the Li Group is a nationally renowned business group, so the security guard has seen all kinds of nice cars, and he was not surprised by Zhu Xiaolong's sports car. Zhu Xiaolong didn't want to cause any misunderstanding in his second sister's company, so he took out his cell phone and prepared to make a call. But at this moment, a familiar person suddenly walked over. Zhu Xiaolong, Li Chao, why are you two here? The person who spoke was none other than Liu Guangyan, who had been pretending to be awesome all day and getting slapped in the face all day yesterday. Student Xiaolong said he would take me here to find a job. Seeing that Zhu Xiaolong was about to make a phone call, Li Chao answered Liu Guangyan himself. Looking for a job at the Li Group? I'm telling you, forget it. No matter how rich you are, you won't be able to find a job there if I say one word. Liu Guangyan said with a proud look on his face. Zhu Xiaolong was about to press the last number, but when he heard Liu Guangyan say that, he stopped and deliberately asked, why is that? Is the Li Group owned by your family? The Li Group is not owned by my family, but I am the recruitment manager here. Do you know why I suddenly have the money to buy a house? It's because I found a good job. Zhu Xiaolong, although I don't know why you suddenly have the money to buy a villa and a luxury car, but here today, the life and death of your work at the Li Group is in my hands. If you don't believe me, you can ask the security guard. Yes, Manager Liu is the recruitment manager of the Human Resources Department of our Li Group. He has the final say on ordinary job recruitment here. The security guard nodded and responded. How is it? Did you hear me? If you want to work here, you can just kneel down and beg me. Let me take a video and send it to the classmates group, and then I can arrange relevant work for you. Otherwise, humph. Don't even think about setting foot in the Li group. What Liu Guangyan was thinking was, I lost so much face and dignity to you yesterday. Now is a good opportunity. I must fight for it back. As long as you kneel down and beg me, and then I will take a photo and send it to the group, everything that was lost yesterday can be recovered. Xiaolong, we don't need to pay attention to it. At worst, we can just find a job somewhere else. Li Chao said with a stubborn face. No need. I promised you that I would find you a job here and I must do it. Zhu Xiaolong answered affirmatively. In other places, you might get some unexpected surprises if you brag, but here, I tell you, it's impossible. With just one order from me, I can ask the security guards to beat you up and then kick you out. Liu Guangyan threatened arrogantly. Zhu Xiaolong wanted to call his second sister, but seeing that Liu Guangyan was still stubborn, he didn't hesitate. In order to let his second sister see the good show, he changed to texting and asked his second sister Li Yu to come out to the entrance of the group at this time. Zhu Xiaolong, weren't you so impressive yesterday? You showed off your sports car and your villa worth 100 million yuan, and all your classmates were amazed by you. I don't think you can escape from my grasp today. Security guard, what are you still standing there for? Quickly teach this guy a lesson, and then kick them out. Liu Guangyan was furious when he thought of the embarrassing incident yesterday, so he planned to teach Zhu Xiaolong a lesson to relieve his anger. Chapter 16 Kneeling down like a dog and begging for mercy. Seeing this, Li Chao began to worry and planned to call the police, but Zhu Xiaolong stopped him. Li Chao, don't worry. I'm here today and no one can do anything to you. Zhu Xiaolong said with a domineering look on his face. Hey, Zhu Xiaolong, you are really a tough guy. This time I will let you know how powerful I am. If you don't kneel, I will make you kneel down. Security guard, what are you still standing there for? Do you want me to fire you? Liu Guangyan gritted his teeth and said fiercely. How impressive. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I wouldn't have known that there was such an impressive person in our group. At this moment, a familiar voice suddenly came from behind. When Liu Guangyan heard the voice, he was so frightened that he trembled without even turning around. Boss Li, why are you here? I'm chasing away two thieves. They have a history of stealing, so for the safety of the group, I asked the security guards to scare them. Liu Guangyan explained cleverly. We are not thieves. We are serious college students who have just graduated. We are here to find a job. Li Chao explained himself loudly. Oh, you country bumpkin dare to speak so loudly in front of our CEO Li. You must be tired of living. Security guard, what are you still standing there for? Send them away immediately and don't get in the way of our CEO Li. Liu Guangyan was anxious to drive them away simply because he was afraid that his revenge would be discovered. At this time, Zhu Xiaolong crossed his hands in front of his chest, ready to watch a good show. With a slap, just as Liu Guangyan finished his words, a loud slap suddenly sounded in the air. How dare you call my brother a thief? You are the one who is tired of living. After the fight, Li Yu got furious. What? He is your brother. This. When Liu Guangyan heard Li Yu calling Zhu Xiaolong brother, he knew that he had hit the nail on the head. His face instantly turned pale, and he immediately knelt on the ground, begging Zhu Xiaolong for mercy. Xiaolong, I know I was wrong. I should never have offended you. Please let me go. I promise I will never do it again. Li Chao was stunned by this scene. Liu Guangyan was so arrogant just now, but now he was kneeling on the ground like a humble dog. Isn't this too ironic? If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he wouldn't have believed it. He finally understood why Zhu Xiaolong said he would arrange a job for him. It turned out that he had such an awesome sister. Liu Guangyan, I've actually given you many chances. After I came back from the singing club yesterday, I didn't want to have any disputes with you, but you just kept mocking me. Now you want to use the little power you have to deal with me. You are really stubborn. Yes, yes, yes. I deserve to die. I'm a bastard. I'm not a human being. Please forgive me for the sake of me being your grandson. Liu Guangyan continued to kowtow and beg for mercy. Zhu Xiaolong couldn't help but sigh when he heard this. In order to save his life, he actually took the initiative to admit that he was his grandson. This shamelessness was simply shocking. It's not that easy to offend my brother. From today on, you are fired, and I will also issue an industry announcement to make it impossible for you to find a job in the industry. Li Yu said domineeringly. No, please don't, Mr. Li, please be magnanimous and let me go. I can't be without a job. I can't be without a job. Liu Guangyan continued to beg for mercy humbly. Security, kick him out immediately and don't let him set foot in the Li group again. I feel sick just by looking at him. As a domineering female president, Liu despised this kind of man the most, so at this time she just called a few security guards to throw Liu Guangyan out. My tooth is broken. It hurts so much. It hurts so much. Liu Guangyan was thrown out, and because he was facing the ground, several of his teeth were knocked out. At this time, he rolled on the ground in pain. Zhu Xiaolong would not have any sympathy for him. He had brought this upon himself. And you guys, when my brother comes to see me in the future, you are not allowed to stop him. Otherwise, you will end up like him. Li Yu instructed the security guards again. Yes. Mr. Li. The security guards nodded in unison. Good brother, let's go in first. After saying that, Li Yu took Zhu Xiaolong's arm and walked into the office building of the Li Group. Second sister, you arrived just in time. Zhu Xiaolong said with a smile. It's all my fault. There was such a pest in the company, and you almost suffered injustice in my company. Second sister, please don't say this. This is not your fault. It's all Liu Guangyan's fault. Now he has received the punishment he deserves. This is his retribution. By the way, I forgot to introduce you. This is my classmate Li Chao. Li Chao, she is my second sister Li Yu. Hello, Mr. Li, nice to meet you. Li Chao said politely. Hello, my brother told me about your situation. Since it was my brother who recommended you, there will be no problem with the job. Please wait a moment, I will ask my assistant to come over. Li Yu usually doesn't ask about the company's personnel situation. After all, bosses of her level usually have a lot of meetings and important matters to deal with, so she doesn't know where there is a shortage of people and can only ask her assistant to come and report. Mr. Li, our company's medicinal materials branch is currently short of a deputy team leader in the purchasing department. I looked at Mr. Li's resume. He studied medicine, so he should be more familiar with this area. After the assistant came in, he looked at the information and then reported. Okay, then arrange for him to go there. The salary will be standardized. In addition, give him an advance of 100,000 yuan in advance. Li Yu ordered. Thank you, Mr. Li. My family is in need of money. With your advance, I can work with more peace of mind. After hearing this, Li Chao expressed his gratitude repeatedly. You're welcome. Just work hard here. As long as you work hard and have the ability to work, we will not treat you unfairly. Mr. Li, don't worry. With a caring entrepreneur like you, I will definitely treat my work as my own career and will never let you down. Li Chao said immediately. That's good. Go with my assistant to the Human Resources Department to register the form, and then they will tell you about the relevant matters. So, Li Yu's assistant took Li Chao away. Second sister, thank you so much for taking care of my classmate. His family really needs money right now, and you generously gave him an advance of 100,000 yuan. You can be said to be his great benefactor. My good brother asked me to help, so I can't refuse, right? But, I helped you once, so you have to help me once too. Oh. Second sister, you are the richest woman, worth hundreds of billions, I can't seem to help you with anything, right? Chapter 17, Encountering the Beauty of Medical University. Actually, there's nothing much. I just want you to go out for lunch with me at noon. Li Yu replied. Eat? How is this considered help? Zhu Xiaolong was even more confused. Oh, actually it's not just for the meal. There's a guy who keeps pestering me and it's so annoying. I'm going out to eat with you because I don't want to go on his date. Li Yu explained. I understand. It must be because my second sister is so beautiful and charming that she has so much luck with men. Okay, I'm here and will never allow anyone to bully you. Zhu Xiaolong agreed readily. Okay, I'll contact you at 12 noon. Or you can just come to my office and drink tea until 12 o'clock. Liu said happily. I'd better go out for a walk. I'm not used to sitting in your office, the richest man's office. So, Zhu Xiaolong decided to go out for a walk alone, and then go out for lunch with Liu when it was time. Zhu Xiaolong drove to the basement of a shopping mall. As soon as he took the elevator to the first floor, he met an acquaintance, Chen Yang, the campus beauty of the medical university. Chen Yang also noticed him at the first moment, and then took the initiative to come over and say hello. Xiaolong, is that you? Long time no see. I heard you recently bought a villa and a luxury car. Oh. This news actually reached your ears. It's really fast. Zhu Xiaolong said in surprise. It seems to be true. Not bad, you have reached the peak of your life less than a year after graduation. Chen Yang gave a thumbs up in admiration. As the campus belle of the medical university at that time, Chen Yang knew Zhu Xiaolong because they were both hosts during the school anniversary event, so they had worked together for a period of time. At that time, Chen Yang was a celebrity in the medical university. There were thousands of people pursuing her, including many wealthy boys. Unfortunately, she didn't like any of them and remained single until graduation. Last night, Chen Yang also heard about Zhu Xiaolong in other class groups, which made her feel that this man was very remarkable. It was not easy for a college student from the countryside to own a villa and a luxury car. She also looked at Zhu Xiaolong differently in her heart and felt that he was more attractive than other men. Har har, I'm just lucky. Zhu Xiaolong said modestly. Luck is also part of strength, so don't be modest. By the way, where are you going? I'm going to the mall to buy a new phone and some clothes, what about you? Zhu Xiaolong's real purpose was to continue using the skill of doubling his spending to save more. Otherwise, the sports car would consume too much fuel. He only got 30,000 yuan yesterday, and he was afraid that it would not last for a few days. Har har, I have nothing to do, so I'm just going to go shopping. How about this, can I go shopping with you? And I can give you some advice as well. Chen Yang asked proactively. Oh? Going shopping with the beauty from the medical university? Okay, I also need someone to give me advice. But will it be too much trouble for you? It's not a trouble, not at all. I'm happy to do it. Chen Yang explained repeatedly. So Zhu Xiaolong walked into the mall with the former campus beauty of the medical university. Along the way, she made many single men envious. After all, which man would not be envious and jealous with such a beauty by his side? But when they saw Zhu Xiaolong's tall and handsome appearance, they felt a little inferior besides envy, jealousy and hatred. Zhu Xiaolong plans to buy a new Huawei mobile phone. He has always used domestic mobile phones, so even if he has money this time, he plans to continue using domestic phones. When they arrived at the Huawei mobile phone store, their waiter ignored them. The reason was very simple, Zhu Xiaolong was dressed too ordinary. Waiter, could you please introduce me to the most expensive mobile phone in your store? Zhu Xiaolong directly asked a waitress next to him. Forget it. I've seen a lot of people like you. You're not here to buy a phone. You just bring a pretty girl in to show off. After seeing her, you'll definitely say she's not suitable and leave. I don't want to waste my time and expressions entertaining you. Who knew, the waiter said with a look of contempt. What do you mean? Everyone comes here to buy a mobile phone. Why would I come to the store if not to buy a mobile phone? Zhu Xiaolong asked directly. Are you here to buy a mobile phone? Don't you have any idea in your mind? I've seen a lot of people like you. You don't have money to buy a good mobile phone, but you deliberately bring girls to have a look, making the girls think you can afford it. Then after seeing it, you say it's not suitable and you don't buy it. Humph, I won't fall for it. The waiter continued with a proud look on his face. Okay, today I'll let you see if I'm here to buy a mobile phone. Whoever takes out the most expensive Huawei mobile phone in our store and gives it to me, I will immediately place an order to buy it. Zhu Xiaolong said loudly and directly. At this moment, everyone in the store fell silent, and all eyes were focused here. TSK. Don't try that trick. Who are you trying to scare? Just think about who would be willing to serve you after seeing you dressed like this. The waiter still looked at him with an arrogant and contemptuous look on his face. What's going on? What happened in the store? Just at this moment, the store manager came out and asked a question. You are the manager of this store, right? I want to buy the most expensive mobile phone in your store. I just want to ask you if you will sell it to me. Zhu Xiaolong said directly. Manager, don't believe him. People like him are just trying to show off to pretty girls. I've seen a lot of them over the years. How can you talk like that? The customer is God. If others want to see the mobile phone, you have to meet the customer's requirements. I'm sorry, sir, our waiter is ignorant. How about this, you sit down first, and I will get you the most expensive mobile phone in our store. The manager said politely. Huh? I don't believe he is really willing to buy the most expensive mobile phone in our store. The waiter still said unconvinced. Zhu Xiaolong became even more upset after hearing this, and said directly to the store manager, you don't need to drink the water, just bring your phone over and I'll swipe the card. What? Just swipe the card? Without even looking? The store manager asked in surprise. He has been working in this industry for more than 10 years, but this is the first time he has encountered such a customer. Yes. No need to look at it, just give it to me. Then you tell me how much it is and I will swipe the card. Zhu Xiaolong said affirmatively. Zhu Xiaolong's action also attracted the attention of everyone present. They all paused to see if Zhu Xiaolong really used a credit card to buy the most expensive mobile phone in the store. The waiter who had just looked down on Zhu Xiaolong also began to feel a little upset. If Zhu Xiaolong really paid with a credit card, wouldn't he miss out on a big commission? You know, the most expensive mobile phone in the store is not cheap. If he sold it through his hands, he would get a good commission. Chapter 18. If you want to buy something, buy the most expensive one. The manager of Huawei store was very happy. He immediately asked someone to bring over the most expensive Huawei Mate XS folding phone in the store, and then said to Zhu Xiaolong with a smile on his face. Sir, this is the most expensive Huawei phone in my store, with an 8-inch foldable double-sided screen. Okay, no need to introduce. Just tell me how much it is. I'll swipe the card right away. Zhu Xiaolong interrupted the other party's introduction. Har har, you're so straightforward. Okay, here's the price, 17,000 yuan. This price is also reasonable. You can check the official flagship store online. We definitely don't have it. Okay, swipe the card. Zhu Xiaolong didn't say much. What he wanted was speed and a slap in the face. Okay, wait a moment, I'll do it for you. The store manager probably thought it was a rare occasion to see such a straightforward customer, so he immediately arranged for a waiter to swipe the card for Zhu Xiaolong. Ding dong, it is detected that their host has just spent 17,000 yuan. Do you want to use the skill of doubling the consumption? As soon as Zhu Xiaolong swiped his card successfully, the system voice appeared immediately. Yes. Zhu Xiaolong answered without hesitation. The double return is in progress. Congratulations to their host for successfully doubling the return. You spent 17,000 yuan this time, and the double return will be 34,000 yuan. As soon as the system's voice ended, information came in that 34,000 yuan had been deposited into Zhu Xiaolong's bank card. Sir, this is your phone, take it. The store manager politely packed the phone and handed it to Zhu Xiaolong with both hands. If you give me another one exactly like this one, I will buy another one. Zhu Xiaolong continued generously. This. The people present were stunned instantly. Zhu Xiaolong's quick and decisive card swiping just now had already made them feel his generosity, but now he wanted to buy another one. Was he not taking a phone worth more than 10,000 yuan seriously? The waiter just now also had a dark face, feeling very embarrassed and regretful. She cursed herself 180 times in her heart. If she hadn't looked down on others, perhaps this huge commission would have belonged to her. But it was a pity that now, the commission was wasted. Sir, are you sure you want to buy another phone of this model? The store manager asked excitedly. How about this, how many phones of this model do you have in your store? We only stocked 5 in total. You just bought one, so there are 4 left. The store manager replied enthusiastically. Great, as long as the waiter who just looked down on me apologizes to me, I will buy all the rest. Zhu Xiaolong requested. Sir, don't worry. We would have done this even if you didn't ask us to. After all, it was our waiter who was wrong just now. Xiaohong, why are you still standing there? Come and apologize to this gentleman quickly. I'm telling you, if this gentleman doesn't forgive you, you don't have to come to work tomorrow. The store manager first politely explained the situation to Zhu Xiaolong, and then immediately asked the waiter to apologize to Zhu Xiaolong. The waitress named Xiaohong looked even uglier. In order to keep her job, she had to bow her head and apologize to Zhu Xiaolong. I'm sorry, it was my bad attitude just now. I shouldn't have looked down on you. It's my fault. I hope you can forgive me. She has already apologized. What do you think? If you refuse to forgive her, I will have someone fire her immediately. The store manager politely asked Zhu Xiaolong for his opinion. He knew very well that someone like Zhu Xiaolong who dared to buy 5 mobile phones worth more than 10,000 yuan was definitely not an ordinary person. It was best not to offend such a person, otherwise he would be the one who would suffer the consequences. Therefore, as long as Zhu Xiaolong really does not forgive Xiaohong, he will not offend Zhu Xiaolong for Xiaohong. Please, sir, please don't ask the manager to fire me. My family needs money now, and I can't lose this job. Please, I know I was wrong, I really know I was wrong. Xiaohong's waitress begged Zhu Xiaolong bitterly. The reason I asked you to apologize is not because I am petty, but because I want to tell you that no matter what it is, it should be respected as it is. Yes, yes, yes. I promise to serve every customer with the same enthusiastic attitude in the future. Please forgive me. Okay, this matter is over. You go and bring the remaining 4 mobile phones to me, and I will pay for them in one go. Zhu Xiaolong waved his hand coolly, and then said generously. Thank you, sir, for your forgiveness. Thank you. Hearing that Zhu Xiaolong was willing to forgive her, Xiaohong's waitress finally put aside her worries and expressed her gratitude repeatedly. The store manager was very smart and immediately asked someone to bring the remaining 4 mobile phones over. 17,000 per machine, for machines equals 68,000. This number directly exceeds Zhu Xiaolong's bank card deposit. Because he originally only had 30,000 yuan in deposit, and he just used the card to pay 17,000, which left him with 13,000 yuan. Then he paid back 34,000 yuan for the 17,000 yuan he used, which added up to 47,000 yuan. Fortunately, there are credit cards in this era. Zhu Xiaolong directly swiped his credit card. After all, the money would be doubled and returned to him later, so he would have the money to pay it back. Ding dong, it is detected that their host has just spent 68,000 yuan. Do you want to use the skill of doubling the consumption? Just as Zhu Xiaolong successfully swiped his card, the system voice appeared again. Yes. The doubling return is in progress. Congratulations to their host for successfully doubling the return. You spent 68,000 yuan this time, and the return will be doubled to 136,000 yuan. As soon as the system's voice ended, information about Zhu Xiaolong's bank card receiving 136,000 yuan immediately appeared. Together with the previous 47,000 yuan deposit, the deposit suddenly reached 183,000 yuan. Then I paid off the 68,000 I had just charged on my credit card, leaving me with 115,000. Zhu Xiaolong earned tens of thousands of dollars easily. At this moment, there was only one word to describe his psychological feeling: awesome. If it's 2 words, it's awesome. If it's 3 words, it's fucking awesome. If it's 4 words, it's so fucking awesome. Everyone was stunned again when they saw Zhu Xiaolong swiping his card for tens of thousands of yuan and still secretly smiling. Sir, this is my business card. If you need anything in the future or have any follow-up questions on your phone, you can contact me directly. The store manager didn't want to miss this big fish, so he immediately handed his business card to Zhu Xiaolong. Okay. I've got that. If there's nothing else, I can take my phone and leave. Zhu Xiaolong said casually. Of course, I have installed these 5 mobile phones for you. Do you need me to help you put them in your car? The store manager asked attentively. No, I can take it myself. Thank you. Zhu Xiaolong took the bag and walked out coolly amid everyone's shocked expressions. This is definitely a hidden rich man. Only hidden rich people would wear ordinary clothes but spend lavishly. Finally, someone responded and said something in the silence. At this time, Zhu Xiaolong's figure had disappeared at the door of the store. Chapter 19, The Medical University Beauty's Classmate Has Bad Intentions. Chen Yang's expression was full of surprise. After leaving the Huawei mobile phone store, she finally reacted and couldn't help asking, "Oh my god, Xiaolong, are you crazy? Buying so many expensive mobile phones at once? Har har, I'm not crazy. Just 5, nothing. Here, I'll give you one. After saying that, Zhu Xiaolong gave one to Chen Yang. Isn't this a bit too bad? We are just ordinary friends, and you gave me such an expensive phone. How can I accept it? Okay, if you don't accept it, you don't consider me a friend. No, I just said it casually. How could I not consider you as a friend? If you're a friend, then don't be polite to me. Take it. If other men wanted to give her something so blatantly, Chen Yang would definitely find all kinds of reasons to refuse. But now that Zhu Xiaolong gave her something, for some reason, she felt a little excited and happy in her heart. Although she felt a little embarrassed to accept it, she still accepted it in order not to make Zhu Xiaolong angry. Well, thank you. I'll treat you to lunch today. Let's do it another day. My second sister and I made an appointment to have lunch with her at noon today. Zhu Xiaolong refused. This was the first time that the beauty from the medical university took the initiative to ask a man out for dinner, but she didn't expect to be rejected. This made her feel that Zhu Xiaolong was even more special. Okay then, I'll treat you another time when I'm free. By the way, if you want to buy anything else, I'll go with you again. I need to buy 2 more sets of clothes, otherwise my clothes will be too ordinary. You just saw it. Because I dress ordinary, the waiters don't want to pay attention to me. Zhu Xiaolong said with a smile. That's the waiter's own problem, not yours. I think as long as the person is nice, it doesn't matter what clothes he wears. But if you want to buy something, I will accompany you. And give you advice by the way. Chen Yang said. Just take me to a higher-end men's brand clothing store. Thank you. Zhu Xiaolong wants to buy high-end brand clothes not only because he wants to change his dressing image, but more importantly, he wants to get double the return through consumption. Is that so? Okay then. I know there's a Versace store on the 3rd floor that sells high-end clothes. So Chen Yang took Zhu Xiaolong to the Versace brand store on the 3rd floor. As soon as Zhu Xiaolong entered the store, before he could even open his mouth, the waiter came out and greeted Chen Yang. Hey, isn't this classmate Chen Yang? Long time no see. Chen Yang was stunned for a moment, and looked for a long time before she realized that it was her high school classmate Li Xiaoming. It's Xiaoming. It's been a long time since we last met. I didn't expect you to be working in sales here. Chen Yang said happily. Yeah. What's wrong? Are you going to sell clothes? No, it's my friend who wants to buy it. I'll come with him and give him some advice. Chen Yang pointed to Zhu Xiaolong next to her and explained. When Li Xiaoming heard this, he noticed Zhu Xiaolong next to him. Seeing Zhu Xiaolong wearing ordinary clothes and walking so close to Chen Yang, he immediately felt unhappy. In high school, he had a crush on Chen Yang. At that time, Chen Yang had grown to perfection in high school and could be described as a goddess in his mind. It's a pity that he never dared to confess. Now that he saw that an ordinary dressed person like Zhu Xiaolong could walk with Chen Yang, he felt even more envious and jealous. He guessed that someone who dressed like Zhu Xiaolong must not be able to afford Versace brand clothes, so he probably brought Chen Yang here to show off. So, an idea suddenly occurred to him, and he planned to deliberately introduce the more expensive clothing styles in the store to him so that he would have no money to buy them, thus embarrassing him. Humph! You are showing off in front of me. I will let you know how powerful I am, Li Xiaoming said fiercely in his heart. Since you are friend of my classmate Chen Yang, you are naturally my friend. Come on, how about I introduce some clothes to you? Li Xiaoming said with deliberately pretended enthusiasm. Okay, thank you. Zhu Xiaolong replied indifferently. Well, come with me. I think this dress here suits you very well. Are you satisfied with it? Zhu Xiaolong took a look and thought it was pretty good. Since you think it's good, why not try it on? Classmate Chen Yang, what do you think? Since you are going to buy clothes, you naturally have to try them on to see how they look. Xiaolong, go to the fitting room and try them on. Chen Yang also suggested. Zhu Xiaolong nodded and went to the fitting room to change into new clothes. The saying clothes make the man is true. He is tall and handsome, and after wearing this Versace suit, his handsomeness and charm doubled. Chen Yang couldn't help but take a few more glances at him, as if she had a little crush on him. Li Xiaoming's jealousy became more obvious, and he was unwilling to accept it. However, when he thought of Zhu Xiaolong's embarrassment and awkwardness when he paid the bill, he calmed down immediately. He deliberately praised Zhu Xiaolong and said, "Not bad, really not bad, this dress is a perfect match for you. Classmate Chen Yang, what do you think?" "Yeah. I think it's very good too. See? Even a beauty like Chen Yang said this dress is nice. How about taking this one? How about it?" Li Xiaoming had deliberately hidden the price tag of the dress, and he did not tell the price at this time, just to make Zhu Xiaolong agree to buy it first, and then tell the price when he paid the bill. By then, he would think that Zhu Xiaolong would definitely not be able to afford it, and then he could see him embarrassed. "Okay, let's take this one. I also want to buy a pair of pants," Zhu Xiaolong said generously. "Okay, how about this one? It matches this dress perfectly. Try it on and see how it works." Li Xiaoming then took out a pair of more expensive pants and introduced them to Zhu Xiaolong. Zhu Xiaolong also went into the fitting room and put them on. When he came out, Chen Yang was stunned again. Wearing all Versace brand clothes, Zhu Xiaolong's temperament suddenly became high-end and elegant, just like those world-famous models. So handsome and charming, Chen Yang couldn't help but sigh secretly in her heart. Li Xiaoming was even more angry. In order to embarrass Zhu Xiaolong, he took out a pair of shoes and said deliberately, "It seems that this gentleman is really suitable for our Versace brand clothes. If he can wear this pair of shoes, the effect will be even more perfect. Xiaolong, why don't you try it? I feel like if you wear these shoes, you will look like a noble prince," Chen Yang said excitedly. Li Xiaoming was secretly proud in his heart, thinking, "Humph. You are noble prince, when I see the price when I pay the bill, I will see how you make a fool of yourself." Chapter 20, How much money is spent casually? Zhu Xiaolong thought about it for a moment, said it was no problem, then took the shoes and went in to put them on. Sure enough, after even his shoes became Versace, Zhu Xiaolong's temperament became even more elegant, like a noble prince in Europe. "Wow! So handsome. Xiaolong, your outfit is simply so handsome." Chen Yang couldn't help it anymore. She immediately gave a thumbs up and said to Zhu Xiaolong in a fascinated tone. Li Xiaoming gritted his teeth even more when he saw this, but he felt a little better when he thought that Zhu Xiaolong would soon make a fool of himself. "Really? Then I'll take this set." Zhu Xiaolong was so happy that he decided to buy it. "Okay, wait a moment, I'll count them for you." Li Xiaoming was very quick. In order to prevent Zhu Xiaolong from changing his words, he chose to cut off the labels immediately. According to the rules of our store, once the label is cut off, the clothes must be purchased. "So sir, you are not allowed to regret it," Li Xiaoming reminded. "Don't worry, I'll buy it if I say so. Just calculate the price and I'll swipe the card right away," Zhu Xiaolong said affirmatively. "Har har, I've already calculated it. It's a total of 100,000 yuan," Li Xiaoming said proudly. "What? $100,000? When Chen Yang heard the price, she was immediately surprised. "Yes. I believe you are all aware of the popularity of our Versace brand. It has always been a high-end brand, and the clothes and pants he was wearing just now are the more expensive ones in our store, so they are naturally more expensive," Li Xiaoming deliberately explained. "But this is too expensive, isn't it? It's just a dress, a pair of pants, and a pair of shoes." "Har har, classmate Chen Yang, your friend can't be without money to buy it, right? But I have already said it, the label has been cut, you have to buy it whether you want to or not." Li Xiaoming immediately changed his attitude. Then he felt very proud and waited to see Zhu Xiaolong make a fool of himself. "What do you mean by that? Chen Yang, don't be angry. I like my clothes very much, so just buy them. Come on, swipe the card." Zhu Xiaolong was very calm, and the 100,000 yuan was just what he wanted. After all, there was already a deposit of 100,000 yuan in the card just now. If he swiped another 100,000 yuan now, it would be equivalent to earning another 100,000 yuan. "Are you sure? 100,000 yuan. Not 10,000 yuan. Don't hear me wrong," Li Xiaoming reminded with a doubtful look on his face. "I know, I heard it right. $100,000. By credit card." Zhu Xiaolong took out a bank card and said affirmatively. "This." Li Xiaoming didn't believe this. Could it be that you, with your ordinary clothes, could really afford to buy clothes worth 100,000 yuan? Wait a minute, your bank card balance is insufficient. Let me see how you explain it. So, Li Xiaoming took Zhu Xiaolong's bank card and swiped it on the POS machine. Zhu Xiaolong looked at the amount, entered his bank card password, and the transaction was immediately shown to be successful. Ding dong, it is detected that their host has just spent 100,000 yuan. Do you want to use the skill of doubling the consumption? Just as Zhu Xiaolong successfully swiped his card, the system voice appeared again. Yes. The doubling return is in progress. Congratulations to their host for successfully doubling the return. You spent 100,000 yuan this time, and the return will be doubled to 200,000 yuan. As soon as the system's voice ended, the information that Zhu Xiaolong had deposited 200,000 yuan into his bank card immediately appeared. He was very happy to have easily earned another 100,000 yuan. He couldn't help but smile. Li Xiaoming's face was extremely ugly, like wind, rain and fog. He never expected that Zhu Xiaolong's bank card could actually be swiped successfully, and it was swiped so smoothly and without any hesitation. Could it be that this guy is a hidden rich man? I just don't believe it. Are there really invisible rich people in this world who dress so ordinary? So, Li Xiaoming decided to trick Zhu Xiaolong again. This, sir, is really straightforward. In addition to this set, I think you can also try other styles. What do you think? Li Xiaoming said deliberately. Okay, then you can introduce other styles to me. Zhu Xiaolong said readily. This surprised Li Xiaoming. He thought Zhu Xiaolong just bought the clothes worth 100,000 yuan, and if he tried to trick him, the other party would find all kinds of excuses to refuse. He had already thought of several reasons to try to trick him. But what about now? Zhu Xiaolong agreed without even thinking about it. It was simply incredible. Is it really true that buying clothes worth $100,000 is as easy as buying vegetables? Li Xiaoming didn't believe it. After thinking about it, he directly introduced the most expensive set of clothes in their store, which cost a total of 200,000 yuan. But who knew that Zhu Xiaolong would swipe the card directly and happily, and with this consumption, he made another 200,000 yuan in one go. This made him very happy, and he once again felt the power of this skill of doubling the consumption and getting a return, which made him earn a good income so easily. If he continued like this, would the goal of 100 million be far away? Seeing Zhu Xiaolong swiping a card for 300,000 yuan here today and still smiling, Li Xiaoming was shocked to the extreme. 100,000 questions kept circling in his mind. He has been working as a salesperson here for so long, but this is the first time he has encountered such a wealthy customer. Could it be that this Zhu Xiaolong is really a hidden rich man? Okay, we've bought enough clothes for today. Chen Yang, let's go. Zhu Xiaolong picked up the clothes he bought, said something to Chen Yang, and walked out of the Versace store in a cool manner. Li Xiaoming behind him seemed to have understood where he lost to Zhu Xiaolong at this time, and his face became very ugly and embarrassed. Fortunately, Zhu Xiaolong had left the store, otherwise he really wanted to hide in a cave. Xiaolong, you are too scary, aren't you? Chen Yang suddenly stopped and said to Zhu Xiaolong with an incredible expression. Oh. I'm not a devil, what's there to be afraid of? Zhu Xiaolong asked in confusion. You just used your credit card to buy clothes worth 300,000 yuan, and these 300,000 yuan were just for 2 sets. Tell me, did you really become rich by winning the lottery? Chen Yang asked seriously. So that's what you're talking about. It's nothing, actually. I just felt that I had never enjoyed such expensive clothes before, so I decided to give it a try this rare opportunity. Zhu Xiaolong didn't plan to tell anyone about the random sign-in system. After all, it was too mysterious. No one would believe it. So he couldn't tell Chen Yang that he did this to swipe his deposit. He could only find a random reason to answer the other party. Chapter 21, The Medical University Beauty has many pursuers. Although Zhu Xiaolong's answer was a bit perfunctory, Chen Yang didn't think much about it. She just suddenly felt that the man in front of her was completely different from the one she knew in school. Not only was he taller and more handsome, but his beauty and personality were also so unique. Okay, then do you want to buy anything else? I'll accompany you again. Chen Yang said gently. Your hands are already full, so let's just leave it at that for today. Let's take them back to the car, and then find a place to have milk tea. I'll treat you. Zhu Xiaolong said. Okay, but I'll buy you the milk tea. After all, You gave him a cell phone worth more than 10,000 yuan today. I'd feel bad if you still have to buy him the milk tea. It's okay. It won't cost much. Let's go. Let's take the elevator down to the parking lot. After arriving at the parking lot, Zhu Xiaolong pressed the car key, and the sports car made a beeping sound in response. Chen Yang, a beauty from a medical university, had seen many sports cars before, and many of the men who pursued her drove them too courteously. But she didn't like any of them. Although Zhu Xiaolong's sports car is not top of the line, but with his figure and good looks, when Chen Yang sits in it, she finds it so charming and unique. Chen Yang, why are you standing there? Put your things up here. Zhu Xiaolong saw Chen Yang standing aside and looking at him stupidly, so he reminded her. Oh. Sorry, I'll put it up right away. When Chen Yang reacted, she felt a little embarrassed and her face blushed. Then she immediately put the things in her hand into Zhu Xiaolong's car. Okay, I've put my stuff away. Where's your car? Where is it? I'll go with you to put your phone away. Zhu Xiaolong jumped out of the car and asked Chen Yang. Har, my car is in front. But I only have one phone, so I don't need to put it in the car. I can just put it in my bag. After saying that, Chen Yang stuffed the bag directly into the big LV bag she was carrying. Okay, let's go find a milk tea shop and drink milk tea, and then when the time comes, I have to go accompany my second sister. Seeing that there was still an hour or so left, Zhu Xiaolong decided to have a drink and chat with the campus beauty of the medical university. In the past, when so many men asked Chen Yang out, she didn't feel excited at all. But now, when she heard that she was going to drink milk tea with Zhu Xiaolong, she didn't know why, but she felt a little happy in her heart. She is more familiar with milk tea than Zhu Xiaolong, and she likes to go to these places with her girlfriends on weekdays. Chen Yang took Zhu Xiaolong to a milk tea shop where she often went, and then found a seat by the window and sat down. Xiaolong, I never thought you've changed so much. To be honest, this can be described as a miracle. After sitting down, Chen Yang immediately expressed her admiration for Zhu Xiaolong again. Har, it's okay. I'm just lucky. By the way, what did you do after graduation? Did you become a doctor as well? Yes. I'm an intern doctor now. Chen Yang said with a cute expression. Facts have proved that a beauty is a beauty, and Chen Yang is also pleasing to the eye when she is cute. Chen Yang, didn't you say you were busy? Why are you here to drink milk tea at this time? Just when Zhu Xiaolong was about to say something else, suddenly a man of similar age came over and greeted Chen Yang. Liu Haishan, why are you here? Seeing that it was a crazy pursuer, Chen Yang replied with an unhappy look on her face. I just happened to pass by and saw someone who looked like you. I thought I was seeing things. But it turned out to be you. Also, who is this man? With the way he's dressed, is he worthy of drinking milk tea with a goddess like you? When Liu Haishan saw Zhu Xiaolong next to Chen Yang, he looked very unconvinced. After all, he is a rich second generation and has everything he wants. How could he lose to such a person? Just this morning, he had asked Chen Yang to have milk tea at noon and go shopping. Chen Yang refused and said she was busy. But now? Now she is drinking milk tea with such a man. He was even more angry when he thought about it. Liu Haishan, it seems that who I go out with and have milk tea has nothing to do with you, right? We are just classmates. Chen Yang said directly and coldly. Classmate relationship. You sound easy. Do you know how many times I have asked you out for milk tea? But every time you said you were busy or you didn't want to drink milk tea. But what about this guy? Why did you go out with him for milk tea? It's impossible for us to be together. I've told you many times, but you're the one who won't give up and keeps bothering me. I just don't believe it. How did I lose to this kid? Boy, do you know what the consequences are of snatching a woman from me, young Master Liu? Liu Haishan no longer wanted to listen to any explanation from Chen Yang at this time. He directly threatened Zhu Xiaolong with an arrogant look on his face. You ask me who I am. How should I know? Also, I am not competing with you for a woman. Chen Yang and I were classmates in medical university and we have known each other for a long time. Isn't it okay for friends to come out and drink milk tea? Zhu Xiaolong said calmly. Xiaolong, you don't need to pay attention to him. If he continues to act unreasonably, we will call the police. Okay, so you are from the medical university. I remember now. You must be Zhu Xiaolong. I was wondering why you looked familiar. Liu Haishan is also a student at the medical university, but he is not in the same class as Zhu Xiaolong. After knowing that it was Zhu Xiaolong, he was even more dissatisfied. Because when he was in school, he knew that Zhu Xiaolong was just a college student from the countryside. How could he be qualified to compete with him for the goddess? How could he lose to him? You are a student from a medical university, so you must be doing an internship in a hospital, right? If I remember correctly, you are doing an internship in Zhongshan Hospital. The vice president of the Hospital of Traditional Chinese Medicine is my dad. Believe it or not, I can just give you a call and you will be fired tomorrow. Liu Haishan threatened harshly. The news that Zhu Xiaolong has a sister who is a miracle doctor and became a shareholder of Zhongshan Hospital happened yesterday. Because it happened so suddenly, many people did not know about it. Liu Haishan and Zhu Xiaolong were not familiar with each other, and he did not know about this matter. That's why he used his father, the vice president of Zhongshan Hospital, to scare Zhu Xiaolong. Liu Haishan, don't go too far. Let me tell you, this is a matter between us and has nothing to do with Xiaolong. Don't do anything reckless. Chen Yang immediately stood up and spoke for Zhu Xiaolong. Chen Yang, I was just trying to scare him. Why are you so nervous about him? And you said there was nothing wrong with you? If there was nothing wrong, why would you be so nervous? Boy, in one word, leave my goddess obediently, and then you can keep your job in Wubai City. Otherwise, I will call you and you will immediately receive a notice from the hospital to terminate your employment, and you may not even find a job in Wubai City. Humph. Liu Haishan continued to threaten Zhu Xiaolong arrogantly. Chapter 22. Their vice dean's son is so impressive. Chen Yang was a little worried about Zhu Xiaolong. After all, she knew that Liu Haishan's father was indeed the vice president of Zhongshan Hospital, so it would be easy for him to fire Zhu Xiaolong, and in turn, if Zhu Xiaolong was fired because of her, she would feel very guilty. Therefore, she had to plead for Zhu Xiaolong. Liu Haishan, what do you want in exchange for letting Xiaolong go? I've told you before, this matter has nothing to do with him. This is a matter between you and me. Even if I beg you, please don't involve him, okay? Beg me? You actually begged me for him, and you said there's nothing between you two. Who are you kidding? A beautiful schoolgirl from a medical university, a goddess who's high and mighty, begging me for him, how can it be okay? Boy, if you have the guts, just say something. Liu Haishan became even more angry when he saw that Chen Yang, who was always aloof, actually asked him for help for Zhu Xiaolong. What did I say? That your father Liu Neng is the vice president of Zhongshan Hospital? Or did you want me to call him and ask him to come over and scold you, the rebellious son? Zhu Xiaolong said calmly. You little bastard, you dare to call my father's name. And you even dare to pretend to be cool and say you would call him over to scold me. Are you tired of living? Liu Haishan cursed angrily. What would you do if I could really call your dad to come over? What? Are you trying to scare me? Well, if you can really call my dad to come over, I will kneel down and kowtow to you and admit my mistake. But is it possible? Stop pretending here. The reason why Liu Haishan didn't care about kowtowing and admitting his mistake was because in his opinion it was impossible for Zhu Xiaolong to just make a phone call and call his father over. When he left home this morning, he clearly remembered that his father had told him not to call him unless there was something special, because there was an important meeting to be held today. Therefore, even if Zhu Xiaolong really knew his father, he would not let him come here. Moreover, Zhu Xiaolong was just an intern doctor from the countryside. How could he know the deputy director of Zhongshan Hospital? After some analysis, Liu Haishan concluded that Zhu Xiaolong was just trying to show off in front of the goddess. Okay, you said that. But in addition to kowtow and admit your mistake, you have to promise me that you will never bother Chen Yang again. Of course, if I can't do that, I will also kneel down and kowtow to you. Okay, I promise you. I don't believe that you can really let my dad through just by making a phone call. Humph. Liu Haishan agreed readily. Zhu Xiaolong didn't he have Liu Neng's phone number, but he could call his elder sister Du Wan and ask her to ask Liu Neng to come over. Du Wan was reading emails in the office. When she saw Zhu Xiaolong's call, she happily pressed the answer button. My dear brother, what's wrong? Sister, I have something to trouble you with. Is there a vice president named Liu Neng in the hospital? Yes, there is indeed a person named Liu Neng. What's the matter? Here's what happened. Zhu Xiaolong briefly told Duwaner what had happened, and Duwaner was very angry after hearing it. How dare Liu Neng's son offend my brother? I will take my men to kill him right now. Sister, there's no need to trouble you to come here for such a small matter. Just give Liu Neng a call. I believe he will know what to do. Zhu Xiaolong suggested. Okay, I'll call him right away. You guys wait there. Duwaner immediately called Liu Neng, who was in a meeting. After Liu Neng received the phone call, he was trembling with fear. This bastard, why did he choose to offend Duwaner's brother when he could have offended everyone else? Isn't this courting death? Liu Neng knew the seriousness of the matter, so he didn't dare to delay. He went back and told the people in the meeting, then hurried to the place where Zhu Xiaolong and the others were drinking milk tea. Kid, how is it? You've been on the phone for so long, is my dad here? Har har har, don't tell me you want me to wait for you here until the evening. I don't have that patience. Liu Haishan said with a look of arrogant contempt. Don't worry, your father will be here in 10 minutes. Zhu Xiaolong said calmly. Har har har, keep pretending. Let me tell you, if my dad can really get here within 10 minutes, not only will I kneel down and admit my mistake, I will even acknowledge you as my dad. Dad. Liu Haishan had just finished speaking when he looked up and saw his father Liu Neng walking in hurriedly. His whole expression was stunned and he couldn't react for a long time. By the time he reacted, Liu Neng had already arrived in front of him and slapped him without saying a word. You bastard, do you want to kill your dad? Hurry up and apologize to Mr. Zhu. Dad, what's wrong with you? Didn't you say you had an important meeting to attend? And why did you hit me as soon as you came in? You have never hit me since I was a child. Liu Haishan covered his painful face with an expression of aggrieved and puzzled. You bastard, you have offended young Master Zhu, do you think you should be beaten? Mr. Zhu? You mean Zhu Xiaolong? Sweat. Dad, you've been fooled by him. He's nothing. He and I both studied at the medical university. I know him very well. He's just a country bumpkin. By the way, he's still doing an internship at your hospital. You should get him fired right away. Liu Neng, your son said he wants to fire me. What do you think we should do? Zhu Xiaolong asked deliberately. Hey, you country bumpkin are really good at pretending to be awesome. You even dare to call my dad by his name. I'll teach you a lesson. With a slap, another loud slap was heard. However, it was not Liu Haishan who hit Zhu Xiaolong, but Liu Neng who hit his son. You bastard, you are simply asking for your own death. Young Master Zhu is one of the major shareholders of our Zhongshan hospital, and the miracle doctor Duwaner is his sister. You asked me to fire him, but why didn't you let me go to heaven? I will beat you to death today. What? He is. Liu Haishan, who knew the truth, was shocked and his face began to turn blue. What are you still standing there for? Kneel down and apologize to young Master Zhu. If he doesn't forgive you, I will kill you for the sake of justice. Liu Neng gritted his teeth and ordered harshly. Yes, yes, yes. Master Zhu, I know I was wrong. I deserve to die. It's all my ignorance. I foolishly offended you. Please forgive me. I promise I won't dare to do it again. Liu Haishan immediately knelt in front of Zhu Xiaolong and kowtowed and begged for mercy. Please forgive me, Mr. Zhu. It's all my fault that I didn't discipline him well enough, which is why he offended you. Liu Neng also knelt down and begged. Chapter 23 Kneeling and Begging for Mercy. Chen Yang, who was sitting beside them, was stunned by the scene of Liu Neng and his son. She couldn't believe her eyes. You know, Liu Haishan was so arrogant just now, but now he was kneeling on the ground like a dog and begging for mercy. This was the first time she saw Liu Haishan so humble. From then on, she admired Zhu Xiaolong even more. Chen Yang, for the sake of my deep love for you, please help me speak up. Seeing that Zhu Xiaolong didn't say anything, Liu Haishan was extremely scared, so he played the emotional card, hoping to ask Chen Yang to help plead for him. But Chen Yang ignored him. Over the years, Liu Haishan's so-called love and infatuation were nothing more than wanting to get her body, and this love and infatuation had caused her trouble many times. Liu Haishan, I remember you just promised me that you would not disturb Chen Yang anymore. You haven't forgotten this, right? Zhu Xiaolong asked coldly. I haven't forgotten. I promise that I will never disturb Chen Yang again. If I have such thoughts again, I will die a miserable death. Liu Haishan promised solemnly. Please rest assured, Mr. Zhu. I will supervise him more strictly in the future. I will never let him do evil things outside, and I will never let him offend you again. Liu Neng also expressed his opinion. Yes, yes. I promise I will never dare to do it again. Never again. Liu Haishan continued to kowtow and beg for mercy. Okay, get out of here. I don't want to see you again. Zhu Xiaolong said coldly. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Mr. Zhu. I'll leave right away. Liu Haishan thanked him repeatedly, then immediately left here in embarrassment, covering his face. Liu Neng, I didn't make it a fuss today because you have worked in Zhongshan Hospital for many years. I hope you will be careful when you go back and never do anything against the rules. Zhu Xiaolong reminded Liu Neng, who was still here. Yes, yes, yes. Please rest assured, Mr. Zhu, I will work hard and discipline my son strictly. Liu Neng nodded. That's fine, you can go back. Zhu Xiaolong waved his hand, and Liu Neng dared to retreat. At this time, Chen Yang still had a stunned and shocked expression on her face. Chen Yang, what's wrong with you? Oh my god, Xiaolong, you really surprised me today. You know, this is the first time I see Liu Haishan begging someone so humbly. Chen Yang, who had reacted, immediately said excitedly. This is his own fault. If he hadn't been so arrogant, this wouldn't have happened. Yes. He is usually like this, but no one can subdue him. Only you can make him kneel down and kowtow. You are amazing. After Chen Yang finished speaking, she couldn't help but give Zhu Xiaolong a thumbs up. Thank you for the compliment. I hope this lesson will improve him. Actually, I have to thank you. If it weren't for you, I would have been disturbed by him for a long time. Now it's better. He won't dare to disturb me anymore. Chen Yang said gratefully. Har har har, you, the campus belle of the medical university, are so lucky in love. Even if this Liu Haishan is gone, maybe the next Liu Haishan will appear. Zhu Xiaolong said jokingly. That's true, that's why I'm so annoyed. Oh, I wish my life could be peaceful. Chen Yang pouted her cute little mouth and sighed. The two continued to sit in the tea shop, drinking tea and chatting. At the same time, a post on the Medical University forum titled, Shocked, I encountered the former beauty of the Medical University drinking tea with her boyfriend, became popular. Oh my god, Chen Yang, who is known as the most beautiful campus beauty in the history of the Medical University, actually has a boyfriend. This is huge news. I wonder which young man can have the embrace of a goddess. Damn, look, doesn't this guy look a bit like Zhu Xiaolong? I used to play on the basketball team with Zhu Xiaolong, so I know him. You never expected that this person is Zhu Xiaolong. It's incredible that the boyfriend of the most beautiful girl in the medical university is actually Zhu Xiaolong. No way. I remember Zhu Xiaolong just broke up with his ex Tan Yongfang. He got the most beautiful school girl so quickly? That's too fast, isn't it? It's Zhu Xiaolong. He and I were classmates. Damn, this guy is so lucky. He can get a goddess right after breaking up. I envy him so much. You know how many people are willing to live a few years less just to get Chen Yang, but he got her so easily. It is eye-catching enough that the most beautiful campus beauty of the medical university has a boyfriend. Now that this boyfriend is Zhu Xiaolong, the news is even more explosive. Then all of a sudden, all the groups started forwarding and discussing it. Zhu Xiaolong instantly became the object of envy, jealousy and hatred for many single people. Tan Yongfang felt even more regretful after seeing the news. She couldn't compare to the most beautiful girl in the medical university in terms of looks and beauty, but Zhu Xiaolong had such a goddess right after breaking up. She was angry just thinking about it. As for Zhu Xiaolong, he didn't know about the school forum. He didn't pay much attention to these things. After finishing chatting at the milk tea shop, he went to pay the bill and prepared to go find his second sister Li Yu. Milk tea doesn't cost much, so he doesn't care how much the spending doubling skill gives him back. Xiaolong, thank you for treating me and milk tea today. I'm so sorry that you gave me such an expensive phone and you still have to pay for milk tea. I'll treat you to a meal next time when I'm free. Before leaving, Chen Yang said with a tender expression. You're welcome. A cup of milk tea doesn't cost much. Okay, I'm going to go find my second sister first. We'll talk when we have time. Bye. After saying that, Zhu Xiaolong started his sports car, and with a roar of the engine, he left here in a cool manner. Chen Yang looked at his departing back. As a cold goddess, she couldn't help but sigh, he is really handsome, different from all other men. Li Yu had lunch at Gij restaurant. The name is not very good, but it is a high-end restaurant. It is said that even if you have money, you can't spend money because the bill is paid by membership card. That is to say, you have to be a member to pay for consumption. As the richest woman, it was natural for Li Yu to spend money at such a place. Zhu Xiaolong was not surprised. After finding a place to park, he walked in directly. Li Yu was already waiting for him at the door. When she saw him coming, she walked over immediately and opened her arms to give Zhu Xiaolong a warm hug. This made Zhu Xiaolong sigh in his heart. Do these sisters sent by the system like to hug me so much? Chapter 24, Dinner with my second sister. Although Li Yu is a domineering female CEO, she has all the charm that a woman should have. After Zhu Xiaolong came out of her arms, her body fragrance was still lingering on his body. And this body fragrance is different from that of his elder sister Duanna, with a scent of jasmine. Second sister, I'm sorry to have kept you waiting for a long time. Zhu Xiaolong smiled and said. No, I just got here too. Come on, let's go in and eat and talk. Li Yu happily took Zhu Xiaolong's hand and walked into the restaurant. In her opinion, Zhu Xiaolong is just her younger brother, and there is nothing wrong with a sister holding her brother's hand. Although Zhu Xiaolong knew that this sister was a gift from the system, he also enjoyed the feeling of being loved. Come on, order whatever you want to eat, and don't be polite to my second sister. After sitting down, Li Yu handed the menu directly to Zhu Xiaolong. Zhu Xiaolong took it and looked at it. Wow, a lobster costs tens of thousands. This price is simply too scary. What's wrong? Your eyes are so wide open. Li Yu asked curiously. Second sister, is this lobster made of gold? Why is it so expensive? It costs tens of thousands. Zhu Xiaolong asked jokingly. This lobster is a foreign product, very rare, and naturally more expensive. It seems that you have never tasted it. How about this, order this lobster. Waiter, write it down for me. Li Yu made the decision generously, and the waiter immediately took note of it. In addition to the tens of thousands of dollars for a lobster, the other dishes were also several times more expensive than those outside. It seems that the places where rich people spend their money are different. Zhu Xiaolong finally saw the luxury of rich people's lives. Since two people couldn't eat much, they ordered 2 or 3 signature dishes in addition to the lobster, and then handed them to the waiter to prepare. Li Yu could finally have a meal with her long-lost brother, which was a very happy thing for her. So when the dishes came, the first thing she did was to pick up the delicious food and give it to Zhu Xiaolong. Thank you, second sister. But I can do it myself. Zhu Xiaolong said a little embarrassedly. What's wrong? Do you think the food your second sister picked up is not tasty? Let me tell you, when you were little, you liked me to pick up food for you the most. One time, you wanted to eat all the food I had eaten. Oh, there is such a thing? Why can't I remember it at all? It's not that you can't remember, but you only remember that your second sister often spanked you. Har har. Li Yu said with a smile. Only in front of Zhu Xiaolong would she be so casual and down to earth. In front of outsiders, she would always have a cold and icy face of a beautiful CEO. The two of them were eating happily until it was almost over, when a tall, stylish man walked towards them. Li Yu, didn't you say that the company was busy today and didn't have time to eat out? What's going on now? Who is he? Why did you two act so close just now? When the man came over and saw Zhu Xiaolong and Li Yu sitting so close to each other, he asked angrily. This made Zhu Xiaolong feel upset. You know, he had faced a similar situation once before, and now it happened again. Is it destined that being with these beauties will cause misunderstandings from other men? But this time it's his loving second sister. Zhu Xiaolong won't let it go so easily. The second sister asked him to come out and have lunch with her this time because she didn't want to pay attention to this man, so he naturally knew what to do. He stood up and said angrily, who I am is none of your business. And now it's a society of human rights. Who she wants to eat with is none of your business. Are you the Jade Emperor? Do you want to control the three realms? This. Li Yu was a little surprised. She didn't expect that her naughty brother would have such courage. The man was also suddenly stunned, and it took him a few seconds to react. Well, you little brat, how dare you talk to me like that? Do you know how powerful Johnson? Johnson? You are a traitor. Your parents gave you birth in Longwa, but you gave yourself a foreign name. Do you think your Longwa name is not nice? Zhu Xiaolong continued to retort. You? Okay, Johnson, stop disturbing my friend here. Actually, he is right. It seems to have nothing to do with you who I have dinner with. So I don't want to answer you. All I can tell you is that I'm very annoyed recently, so don't bother me. Li Yu said coldly. I want to know why I lose to him. Why would you rather have lunch with him than agree to one of my 100 requests? Johnson asked puzzledly. There's no reason, because you can't replace his position in my heart. Let me put it this way, I would rather starve to death than not feed him. Do you think he is important to me? Li Yu answered seriously. Although Li Yu's words were exaggerated, they were partly true. After all, her memory system showed that she loved her younger brother Zhu Xiaolong very much since she was a child. When she was a child, she would often leave delicious food for Zhu Xiaolong instead of eating it herself. Okay, little brat, tell me, what exactly do you do? What qualifications do you have to compete with me, Johnson, for a woman? Do you know that my family business is spread all over the world? Johnson said to Zhu Xiaolong unconvinced. Yes, Johnson's family business has operations all over the world, and he spent most of his early years abroad, so he gave himself a foreign name. Over the years, he returned to China and had some business dealings with Li Yu. That was why he pursued Li Yu so madly and tried to form a strong marriage with Li Yu. In this way, his family business would become even bigger. Just when everyone thought that this talented man and beautiful woman would get together, Li Yu rejected Johnson countless times. Li Yu had investigated Johnson's emotional experience abroad and knew that he was a playboy. How could she, Li Yu, marry such a man? Johnson originally thought that Li Yu was just aloof and that if he pursued her more, he might succeed. But today, when he came here and saw that Li Yu, who had always been aloof to him, was so close to Zhu Xiaolong, he couldn't help but feel jealous. Li Yu wanted to explain to him that Zhu Xiaolong was her long-lost brother, but then she thought it would be better if he mistakenly thought she had a boyfriend, and then she would give up. So she didn't bother to explain. Johnson, that's enough. Do you think love is like buying vegetables in the market? Is it about who has more money? Please leave here, I don't want to see you. Li Yu scolded angrily. Leave? I won't leave unless I get a satisfactory result today. Tell me, little brat, what kind of magic did you use to enchant her? If you don't tell me, I'm not done with you today. Johnson was completely overcome by jealousy and anger, so he no longer cared about his so-called gentlemanly manners. Chapter 25 People who think they are cool by using a foreign name. With a slap, just when Johnson thought Zhu Xiaolong would be scared by his words, Zhu Xiaolong raised his hand and slapped him directly. Due to excessive force, Johnson was slapped and couldn't stand steadily. You bastard, you dare to threaten me. I'm telling you, don't bother her in the future, otherwise I will never let you go. Zhu Xiaolong cursed directly and domineeringly. This. Johnson was shocked by Zhu Xiaolong's dominance and it took him several seconds to react. You dare to hit me? Do you know that there are not many people in Wubai City who dare to hit me? Do you know what the consequences of hitting me will be? Li Yu also began to worry at this time. After all, she knew the strength of the Johnson family in Wubai City. If this really came to a head, even if she was the richest man with a wide network of contacts, it would still be troublesome. It was beyond her expectation that Zhu Xiaolong would beat Johnson. She didn't expect that her younger brother would have such a domineering side. I'm going to hit you. If you don't leave, I'll hit you again. Do you believe it? Zhu Xiaolong said fearlessly. Okay, you wait for me. I'll call you and see how you survive to see tomorrow's sunrise. After saying that, Johnson immediately took out his mobile phone and made a call. Just after the call was made, a group of people came in within 5 minutes, and more people came in one after another, almost surrounding the entire restaurant. Seeing this, the restaurant owner asked them to leave first for the safety of other diners. Johnson, this matter has nothing to do with him. It's a problem between you and me. If you have any problem, come to me. Liu came out to protect her brother. Liu, let me tell you. Today is not as simple as a matter between you and me. I, the great Johnson, was beaten up. Do you think it's a small matter? I must destroy this kid today. No one can save him. What if I were to protect him? At this moment, a deep and experienced voice came from behind. When Zhu Xiaolong heard this, he turned around and saw that it was Liu Wen and his assistant Zhang Kai. He asked in surprise, "Mr. Liu, why are you here too?" "Yes, I happen to be having lunch here with a few friends this afternoon. I just heard that the restaurant was going to kick us out, so I came over to see what was going on. I didn't expect to see you being bullied here." Liu Wen replied. "Har har, sorry to make you laugh. Don't worry, you are my benefactor, Liu Wen. Whoever dares to touch you is touching me, Liu Wen." Liu Wen stated. "Who are you? What's the matter? Do you want to be the first to come forward? Do you know who I am, Johnson?" Johnson had lived abroad for a long time, so he didn't know what kind of person Liu Wen was in the local area. Seeing that he was dressed in ordinary clothes, he thought he was an ordinary person. At this time, he still spoke in an arrogant tone. "Johnson? I really don't know who you are. But I can tell you that in Bobai City, whoever touches my people will have to pay a heavy price. Do you need more people or more connections?" Liu Wen asked confidently. "You old bastard, are you really tired of living? Come on, teach him a lesson first." At Johnson's command, one of the thugs tried to rush forward, but Liu Wen's assistant immediately pulled out a gun and pointed at the other person, saying, "Whoever dares to step forward, just shoot him." "Master, what should we do if he robs?" "Old man, what do you want?" "Let me tell you, my father is Long Wu and I am his only son. I believe you should know my father's reputation, right?" Johnson tried to scare Liu Wen by introducing himself. "Oh, so you are Long Wu's son who is studying abroad. No wonder you have a foreign name. Assistant Zhang, call Long Wu and ask him to come over. Also, order him to be here within 10 minutes. "Yes. As you wish." Assistant Zhang responded, immediately took out his cell phone, and made a call. "Who are you? Why do you speak in such a tone? It doesn't matter who I am. What's important is that if your father doesn't give me a reasonable explanation later, I will not be polite today." Liu Wen said coldly. "Don't try to scare me. My dad is a big businessman. How awesome can you be? Can you scare him?" "Humph," Johnson said arrogantly. Liu and Zhu Xiaolong, who knew Liu Wen's identity, crossed their arms over their chests, waiting to see a good show. About 8 minutes later, Long Wu hurried over. After seeing Liu Wenjun was here, beads of sweat began to appear on his face. "Dad, why are you here?" Johnson's face was full of shock when he saw his father coming over. "Long Wu, your son with a foreign name just said that I was an old thing and wanted to call people to deal with me. Because I know you, I didn't kill him right away. Now you come here, what do you say we should do?" Liu Wen said coldly. "President Liu, rest assured, I will give you a satisfactory explanation." After saying that, Long Wu turned around and kicked his son hard to the ground. "You are such a fool, you even dare to offend President Liu. You must be tired of living. I will kick you to death." "What? President Liu? Could he be the legendary? I'm going to kick you for being so ignorant." Long Wu didn't dare to defend his son in front of Liu Wen, and he really raised his foot and kicked him continuously. "Dad, stop kicking me. I know I'm wrong. I really know I'm wrong. If you kick me again, I'll die." Johnson, knowing that he had offended someone, began to beg for mercy. "You know you're wrong, so hurry up and apologize to President Liu. If he doesn't forgive you, I will destroy you today." Long Wu ordered harshly. Yes. "President Liu, I know I was wrong. It's all my fault. I didn't know how high the heavens were. Please forgive me this time for my youth and ignorance. I promise I won't do it again." Johnson immediately knelt in front of Liu Wen and begged for mercy humbly. Liu Wen took the assistant's gun and pointed it directly at Johnson, which frightened Johnson so much that he peed his pants. "Please have mercy, President Liu. I really know I was wrong. Please forgive me this time." Johnson continued to beg for mercy while trembling. "Let me tell you, what I hate most is people who come back to our country and use foreign names and think they are so awesome. If it weren't for your dad's sake, I would have snatched your name right away. Liu Wen said fiercely. Yes, yes, yes. I know I was wrong. From now on, I will use my country's name when I am in China. Please, President Liu, let me off this time. Please forgive my son this time, President Liu. I promise to discipline him strictly after I return and will never let him do anything evil again. Long Wu had only one son, and he was afraid that Liu Wen would really start to shoot and cut off his survival, so he knelt down and pleaded for his son. Chapter 26: The Mysterious Big Man. The father and son of the Long family were already trembling with fear at this time, and the power of their life and death was almost in the hands of Liu Wen. Liu Wen threw the gun back to his assistant, and then said coldly, "What's the point of apologizing to me? Apologize to my benefactor Mr. Zhu Xiaolong and tell him that if he doesn't forgive you, you can take care of yourself." What? He is your benefactor? Johnson said in shock. What's wrong? Would I lie to you? No, 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 I'm apologizing right now. I'm apologizing right now. After saying that, Johnson turned around and kowtowed to Zhu Xiaolong to apologize. Mr. Zhu, please spare me. I know I was wrong. I promise I will never dare to offend you again. I also promise I will not bother Li Yu again. Please, let me go this time. Johnson, you are such a big idiot. You are so angry without even asking what the relationship between her and I is. Do you think you deserve it? Zhu Xiaolong laughed. Who are you? I'm her younger brother, and she's my second sister. Do you think it's a problem for my sister to have dinner with her younger brother and get so close to him? This. Johnson felt extremely regretful after knowing the truth. If he had known earlier that Zhu Xiaolong was Li Yu's brother, why would he have ended up in such a humble state, waiting to die? But don't even think about getting the attention of my second sister in the future, otherwise I won't let you off easily. Zhu Xiaolong continued domineeringly. Did you hear that? If you dare to attract Mr. Li's attention in the future, I will kill you directly. Liu Wen also said fiercely. Yes, yes, yes. I promise that I will never pay attention to her again. If you still have such thoughts, I will be struck by lightning. In order to survive, Johnson had to swear a poisonous oath. Then you'd better remember your words. I'll let you go if I'm in a good mood today. Get out of here right now. Yes, yes, yes. I'll leave right now. Right now. Seeing a chance to survive, Johnson threw away his dignity and just rolled out. President Liu, I'm so sorry. It's all my fault that I didn't discipline my son well enough, so he offended you. Let's put it this way, everything tonight will be on my shoulders. Just consider it as an apology to all of you. Long Wu, who stayed behind, said politely. Do you think we'll be short of money? No, 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 that's not what I meant. I just want to express the sincerity of our Long family's apology. Long Wu explained repeatedly. Okay, Long Wu, I understand what you mean. There is nothing for you to do here, you can leave. If you want to run a business in Wubai City safely in the future, you'd better discipline your people. Yes, yes, yes. I promise to discipline the people below strictly after I return. Long Wu nodded and made an assurance, then turned around and led their people away. At this point, the restaurant slowly returned to normal. President Liu, thank you so much for your help. Otherwise we really don't know what to do. Li Yu thanked. Mr. Li, you are too polite. Even if I don't show up, you, the richest woman, can solve this problem. Har har, I'm ashamed. I'm a woman, and my ability to deal with this is really not that good. President Liu is really amazing. This is the first time I've seen the Long family so scared. Long Wu and his men may be able to act superior to others, but they are helpless in front of me, because his ancestors made their fortune by relying on our ancestors, and my power in Wubai City just happens to regulate the industry he is in. That's why he is so humble in front of me. Liu Wen explained. Li Yu finally understood after hearing this and said. No wonder they are always so arrogant and domineering. They are not afraid of so many dignitaries, but they are so afraid of President Liu. It seems that President Liu is the nemesis of their family. Har har, this Johnson is so arrogant, he should be taught a lesson. By the way, Mr. Zhu, you are not hurt anywhere, right? Thank you for your concern, Mr. Liu. I'm fine. Please sit down. Zhu Xiaolong said enthusiastically. That's good, that's good. You are my, Liu Wen's, benefactor, and what I, Liu Wen, value most is repaying a favor. If anything happens to you, I will definitely not let the Long family off easily. Liu Wen said generously. Chairman Liu, Mr. Wang is still waiting for you to visit him, so you see. At this time, Assistant Zhang on the side seemed to be reminding something. Yes. If you hadn't mentioned this, I would have almost forgotten about it. Mr. Zhu, don't you have miraculous medical skills? I have a friend who has a terminal illness. I wonder if you can help. Liu Wen only remembered this at this time, and then thought that his own difficult and complicated illness was also cured by Zhu Xiaolong, so he planned to ask Zhu Xiaolong to come over and treat him. Since it's Mr. Liu who asked, then of course there's no problem. Zhu Xiaolong agreed readily. Thank you very much, Mr. Zhu. After you and Mr. Li finish lunch, we will go there together. Har, you guys go over now. I've almost finished eating, and I have a very important meeting to attend in the afternoon, so I can't accompany you. Li Yu said prominently. Then second sister, I will go with them first. We can talk later when we have time. Okay, second sister gets it. You and second sister are both so nagging, just go ahead. Li Yu said with a smile. Zhu Xiaolong also smiled, then stood up and followed Liu Wen and the others out. On the other side, the Long family hall. Johnson was so angry that he smashed several cups. Dad, I really don't understand. Why are you so afraid of Chairman Liu? Isn't he just a local leader? You have a wide range of businesses, and I haven't seen you afraid of other local leaders over the years. And this time you made me so embarrassed in front of outsiders. Johnson said a little unconvinced. What do you know, you bastard? Do you think Liu Wen is a simple character? Do you think he is just an ordinary local leader? Don't you see what his family does? Our Long family was able to become rich thanks to their ancestors. What's more, the power he is in charge of now happens to be the same as our local business. I'm telling you, if you don't want to die, then stay away from trouble. Otherwise, even your dad can't protect you. Long Wu cursed. Well, I promise not to provoke him again in the future. Seeing his father's serious words, Johnson no longer dared to have any thoughts of revenge. He could only swallow this frustration and embarrassment obediently. Zhu Xiaolong drove behind Liu Wen and his friends and arrived at a private villa about half an hour later. This residence was different from other residences. There were 4 guards with electric batons guarding the door. Liu Wen got out of the car and identified himself before they were allowed to drive in. Zhu Xiaolong was very curious. Even a figure like Liu Wen couldn't enter easily. Who was the big shot living in here? Chapter 27, The Pretentious Medical Master. When Zhu Xiaolong followed him in, there was already a middle-aged man waiting inside. As soon as the 3 of them got off the car, the other party immediately came over and politely shook hands one by one. Chairman Liu, you are finally here. Our old Mr. Wang is in bad condition. The middle-aged man said with a worried expression. What's going on? Come on, take us inside to have a look. The other party nodded, and then led the 3 of them into the private villa. In a room on the first floor, an elderly man was lying unconscious on the bed, his face very pale. Mr. Wang, this is Xiao Liu. Can you hear me? Wake up. Liu Wen squatted beside the bed and called softly, but there was no response from the other party. Secretary Chen, what's going on? Didn't you say this morning that Mr. Wang could still speak? Liu Wen turned and asked the middle-aged man. Well, he was able to talk in the morning, but just an hour ago, he suddenly fainted for some reason, and then became like this. No matter how we called him, we couldn't wake him up, Secretary Chen replied. Mr. Wang is an important figure in our country, and we can't let anything happen to him. Mr. Zhu, please help me see if there is any way to treat him. Liu Wen turned his gaze to Zhu Xiaolong. Okay, let me take a look. Zhu Xiaolong sat on the side of the bed, intending to use the time to take the pulse to activate his miracle doctor skills. Through the skills of the miracle doctor, it was revealed that the old man named Wang Lao was suffering from a strange disease called Jiuzhu. President Liu, who is this? Secretary Zhang asked in confusion. Secretary Zhang, I forgot to tell you that this is Mr. Zhu Xiaolong. His medical skills are amazing. I almost reported to the King of Hell before, and it was he who cured me. Liu Wen introduced. Whose medical skills are so miraculous. Just when Secretary Zhang was about to say something, a contentious voice suddenly came from outside, and then a man about 50 years old walked in. It turns out that it's Master Zhao who's here. You're here just in time. Please check on our elder Wang. I'm really worried that he won't make it. When Secretary Zhang saw the man, he greeted him politely. Don't worry, Master Zhao is here, I guarantee that Mr. Wang will be fine. But I just heard someone say that his medical skills are miraculous. What's going on? What happened was, this young man was taking the pulse of our old Mr. Wang, and then President Liu said that this young man had miraculous medical skills, Secretary Zhang explained. Master Zhao's full name is Zhao Ping. He is a famous doctor in Wubai City. Before Du Wan Er's name as a miracle doctor appeared, he was once called a miracle doctor in the industry. However, after Du Wan was called a miracle doctor, he had no choice but to step back. When Zhao Ping heard this, he looked at Zhu Xiaolong and said with disdain, President Liu, you must have been deceived by a charlatan. How can such a young man have miraculous medical skills? According to the normal school age, I estimate that he has just graduated. Har, Master Zhao, that's true. But his medical skills are miraculous, and our President Liu has personally witnessed it, and he is also a beneficiary. Assistant John explained. Yes. Master Zhao, you don't know that Mr. Zhu is not an ordinary person. He is the younger brother of the miracle doctor Du Wan. So his medical talent cannot be calculated according to normal logic. Liu Wen also spoke. Zhao Ping became even more disdainful when he heard this. He had always been resentful about Du Wan stealing his reputation as a miracle doctor. Now he met Du Wan's brother, and outsiders said that he had miraculous medical skills. How could he accept that? So, Zhao Ping said arrogantly, what miracle doctor or not? I think he is just a liar like his sister. You are not allowed to talk about my elder sister. My sister is a true miracle doctor, and you are a liar. Zhu Xiaolong stood up and defended his elder sister Du Wan. Although she is just a sister sent by the system, she is so good to him. Now that outsiders are slandering her, Zhu Xiaolong naturally will not allow it. Oh, you dare to talk back? Well, today I will let you see what a real miracle doctor is. Everyone, leave Mr. Wang's body to me, and I promise to make him recover as before. Zhao Ping said proudly. Har, of course. We invited Master Zhao here because we trust his medical skills. Secretary Zhang said with a slightly embarrassed smile. Boy, why don't you go away and watch me perform my medical skills? What are you doing sitting here? Zhu Xiaolong wanted to hit him directly, but when he thought about how arrogant this guy was, it was pointless to simply hit him with words. It would be better to make him look bad and then give him a good slap in the face. According to the divine doctor's skills, what Wang Lao suffered from was not an ordinary disease, but a kind of poison called Gu poison. Gu poison does not exist in modern medicine, so Zhao Ping certainly cannot treat it. He is so confident now, it will be extremely awkward later. So Zhu Xiaolong stood up and deliberately said, Master Zhao, you must check carefully and make sure not to miss anything. Otherwise, if there is any problem with Elder Wang's health, you will be responsible. What a joke. I, the great Master Zhao, need guidance from a young boy like you? Get out of my way now. Humph. Zhao Ping said arrogantly with contempt. Zhu Xiaolong was not angry at all. He crossed his arms across his chest calmly, intending to watch the show carefully. Mr. Zhu, I'm so sorry, Liu Ben wanted to say sorry to Zhu Xiaolong, but was stopped by Zhu Xiaolong. Mr. Liu, don't worry about it. I'm fine. As long as Mr. Wang can be cured, it doesn't matter who does it. Zhu Xiaolong said generously. Har, Mr. Zhu is still generous. Therefore, Liu Wen admired the young man Zhu Xiaolong even more. 20 minutes passed, and Zhao Ping still couldn't tell what disease Mr. Wang had with the advanced medical equipment he brought. This made him a little anxious, and beads of sweat began to appear on his face. Master Zhao, what's going on? What's going on with Mr. Wang? Secretary Zhang asked curiously. This. What's wrong? Is our old Mr. Wang in very bad health? Secretary Zhang, it's not that Mr. Wang's health is bad, but Master Zhao probably can't find the cause of the disease. Zhu Xiaolong on the side said deliberately. What a joke! How could a great Master Zhao like me fail to identify the cause of the pathogen? Boy, don't talk nonsense here and ruin my reputation. Zhao Ping said, unconvinced. Really? Then please, Master Zhao, tell us what disease Mr. Wang has, so that we can see your medical skills. This